Hello guys, what is up? My name is Dylan. Welcome to the Popcorn Podcast. This is episode number 85. Guys, today we're joined by a very, very special guest. A few months, some of you might have seen, heard, we had this man's film brother from another mother on. But this time he is on the couch. Guys, today my guest, he's a video producer for film, television, and entertainment. He's also a presenter, interviewer, who's spoken to some of the most exciting actors and directors working in Hollywood today, including the likes of Alexander Skarsgård, Will Poulter, Matt Smith, Darren Aronofsky, Celine Song, and Danny Boyle, to name a few. He's a fellow Sussex Uni attendee and the unofficial winner of the tallest individual in the film discussion space.
I worked very hard at that.
Just drink a lot of milk when you go.
Just every night.
He's the James of James and George and James. 50% of the wonderful Pulp Kitchen podcast and 100% of the recently debuted amazing James Breifel podcast. It is Mr. James Breifel. How are you, sir?
I'm blushing. What an intro. I've never been introed in such a way in my life. Thank you so much.
I was going to say...
worthy.
I did the same for George, but I can't take full credit because, I mean, our mutual friend, Henry Calvert,
yes,
he's a pro at this kind of stuff.
He is the best at it, yeah.
So I feel like I've sort of taken a page out of his book for sure.
Absolutely.
But I've tried my best there, but why don't you tell the folks a little bit about yourself?
Yes.
Yeah.
God, you know what's interesting about me is that what's kind of scary, but also I quite like about myself is that my career changes every 18 months to 2 years.
Have you measured that?
It's roughly checking out like clockwork that it changes all the time. So I've always kind of worked in media. That's always everything I've ever wanted to do. Basically started working in television as a runner. Really loved that. Eventually was going down that editorial TV route. So I was doing like chat shows, cooking shows. Basically like whenever you watch a show like Graham Norton or Jonathan Ross or any morning TV show, there are no surprises in television, right? Every conversation that you ever see on television has been had and planned, and when that talent's like, oh, where did you get that photo from? It was all sent in advance, like everything. And, you know, Graham Norton's like, oh, now you've got a film, tell me about that story. That's all been planned because you have what's called a research chat with the talent. So that's what I used to do in television. I would basically call up talent X before they were coming on the show. Let's say they were promoting a book or, you know, they got a new TV series. You ask them all about it. You say, oh, do you have any funny stories of when you interacted with them? There's usually like a game or a format or someone else. I go, oh, do you know the other person? And so you're building like a sort of show. Yeah. And then that all gets crafted. So I did that for a really long time. Actually, not a really long time. I did it for like a year or two. Loved it, but I was also very much, while I was in it, realising I really didn't want to work in television. Realised I could get paid more if I was a shooting researcher or a shooting AP. Developed my filmmaking skills and just general like camera stuff, bought a camera and just ended up started working for brands. Then I've been working in commercial video production ever since and kind of really developed that, doing a bit of like commercial directing as well. And then COVID happened and you have that huge panic of, you know, there's just this massive external factor that killed so many people's work. I was luckily okay for the worst bit of COVID, you know, that spring, summer 2020 when everything was shut. I was actually on sort of working for a company at the time who furloughed me, which was amazing. But it did make me panic a little bit thinking, you know, I'm so reliant on all these external factors. I really want to do something that uses my own skill set.
Yeah, absolutely.
We all know that like cameras, production, expertise, sound, all of these are huge barriers to entry for people to make content. And I kind of thought, you know, maybe if there's one thing I feel like I could talk about once a week, every week, forever, it would be films. Already had a really close friendship with George from uni. We actually tried to do a podcast about film years ago, but just couldn't do it. And we just decided to start it up again with the whole idea of like, look, if I'm happy for no one to listen to this for 2 years and then we can quit, but we both sort of believed we could give it a go, put clips on social media and see it grow, and then that just kind of grew. That's now, I'd say, more so taking up more of my time than ever before. It's essentially both our full-time thing, and now it's like we're interviewing talent, so I'm almost calling myself a presenter, podcaster.
Well, you
producer.
You literally are.
Literally am, yeah. I still feel like a fraud, like I'm like pretending to be a presenter and podcast and producer, but that's kind of like the rough trajectory of where everything is now. And what's amazing is like we've managed to get an audience on the show, people who follow us on social media and also listen, and we've got our 200th episode coming out in 2 weeks. which is just crazy.
Something I've like just never done is I always listen to you guys, like, you know, long car journeys if I'm cooking or something like that. Genuinely big fan of you guys' content. I mean, George, I've said this to George before, but like genuinely, like, it's just amazing stuff. I've never emailed in. I've never taken the plunge. I know. I really need to. All the time.
It's a big part of the show.
I know.
Need the content. Yeah.
I need to be an active.
Yeah, do it. Women, even though our audience is, I'd say like 58% male, as is like most of the internet, but like it skews like just a little bit male. I'd say 70% of our emails are from our female listeners. So women are a lot more active, at least in our space, at like wanting to write an email about stuff. We do get men, but I would say it's probably 2/3 to 70%, which is interesting.
That is interesting.
So stop being such closed off.
I'm going to send one right after this one. Thanks so much for giving that into that. I mean, that was amazing. And also, guys, I mean, I obviously had known you and discovered you through Pulp Kitchen, but you have recently, as of this year, gone on to do your own podcast called the James Breifel podcast. And that essentially you sort of get on new guests and you talk to them about their experiences and their journeys, I guess, and kind of like genuinely like really, really great stuff. I was listening to your episode on essentially how you got into basically what you're doing and your journey and sort of going from uni, and then you're building your career and stuff. And I would really recommend checking out that episode because genuinely I was listening to this and I found myself like it was an hour long and it just went like that.
I didn't mean for it to be an hour, and I was kind of like sort of wondering, have I gone on a bit too long here?
It didn't feel like an hour, and I feel like that was a very like honestly when you first set up that podcast, I was like, oh my god, is everything okay? Is James and George, is this the end of Pulp? What's going on? This is like but no, I think it's a great like outlet for you, and I'm excited to learn more.
I've got loads of really fun. Thanks so much, by the way, for that. I really appreciate it. I got so much lovely feedback on that episode because I was kind of quite honest about sort of my journey of dropping out of university and sort of like it was like a real sort of upheaval of life for me, and I had a lot of sort of demons in my own career of like not being enough and not feeling like I was good enough and just sort of comparing myself to others. And I kind of wanted that podcast to be a space where I interview other people, but doing other things in media. So like film related, but I was like, the only other thing I think I could talk about is like other people doing really cool, exciting stuff in media. So I really want to develop that. I got a couple of really great ideas to do it. I want to do it more regularly than I'm doing right now. But I also just wanted to share like my story and circumstances of how I'd got to where I was, because I touched on it maybe a couple of times on the podcast like ages ago, but it's not really it's such a fun space, Pulp Kitchen. It's not really a space for me to talk just about myself for like 30-40 minutes. So I just did that, and people were so nice, and I think it was sort of I was being quite vulnerable and honest about myself. I found it very therapeutic. And I just really enjoyed that episode. And there's lots of different things about, I think, media and work that I want to cover. Like, I want to do an episode about being bullied at work because I've experienced that. And George has told me about times that he's been bullied at work. I want to talk about just like being the youngest person in the room. There's just loads of things I think I could give insight on. But again, thank you so much for that plug. I mean, it's brilliant. And I will leave all the links and whatnot in the description below for everybody to go check out. But like genuinely, it's like really, really brilliant stuff. And I look forward to watching more. And I must say, by the way, this is a very professional setup. I got a lovely sheet telling me exactly where I needed to be and the questions we were going to talk about. And it had like graphics and fonts. And I was like, oh, wow, I'm going on a show. I should probably prepare. No. Top quality. Yeah. So good stuff. Yeah, no stress, no pressure. It's just very, very laid back. But I feel like that's actually a good segue to go into what we usually do with new guests, which is around a quickfire questions. Okay. Kind of to get a general gist of your film taste. And the thing is with Pulp Kitchen, it's like you guys are always so brilliant at talking about loads of films, but also I think you're someone who's notorious, and I know like you've done this conversation before, and you know what I'm going to say. I know. I'm becoming like this. You're someone who infamously does not have, for example, Letterboxd. No. And you don't necessarily, correct me if I'm wrong, tend to put films necessarily in categories. So I don't have it for two reasons. One is that I already have an amazing outlet to express my opinions from films, which is a weekly film podcast. And if anyone wants to know exactly what I think, you can come and listen to it. What I think Letterboxd is really great for is a visual representation of all the things you've seen. Yes, it is. I am sort of wondering it might be worth to do it for that. But the main thing I don't like about Letterboxd, or just this isn't just Letterboxd, but like sort of reviewing things in general, is I'm fundamentally against giving art, films, games, books, whatever you want to call it, a score out of 10, a score out of 5, stars, whatever you want to call it. I think it's really dumb. As someone who's been reviewing films now for 4 years, right, very amateurly, but still, it doesn't make sense. Once you say, okay, well, I'm going to give... I've seen some people review stuff on an 100-point scale, so like a 9.2 or 8.6, which makes no sense. Like, you can't mathematically assign... What, are you giving, like, up to 3 points for how visually it looks and then 3 points to the story? It's just a vibe that you put out. And opinions change on films, and you might go, a year ago I thought it was an 8.6, but now I'd say it's an 8.2. And so we go, well, James, you gave that film a 9.1, but you gave this one a 9.3. Does that mean this is better than that film? I don't want to be held to it. I don't want to have to... It's not linear. Some people be like, well, is a 10 a perfect score? No. Is a 9 this? And is 7... Is the difference between 7 and 8 between 8 and 9? Yeah.
It's an endless sort of...
You've activated me now. I get really hepped up about it.
The reason I'm laughing is it's genuine because I've met people who, like, if you, like, you know, the people just generally say, oh, that's a 4-star film, that's a 5-star. People really go into intricate decimal points. They're like, it's like a 7.3. I'm like, bro, shut up. Like,
I think, you know what, I have described certain films as like, do you know what, that was 10 out of 10.
That's
like, I'll call it, you know, a masterpiece. And I'm happy to say, you know, it was a 10. And I've also maybe said like it was just 7. And that's quite a useful thing to say. But what was I going to say? It's like, it's not. I've lost my thought. But I've been activated now, and I've. I think
what I guess we're both trying to say, what we both find frustrating is the idea that people are so sort of, they feel like they have to give it that numerical score to really talk about how they feel about it, and it's just like
also I think the difference between what we do on social media, which is like long form review discussion, and we return to our discussions like in the weeks following when people write in, and we like sort of catch up with people, and it's like an evolving conversation, which I really like. I think if you're an outlet like The Guardian or Empire, you don't really have a personal connection with the person writing it.
Correct.
So their score needs to mean a lot more, versus someone might listen to my review and they might know me a little bit more as a personality and be like, oh, well, James really liked it, but I can talk about it from my perspective. Oh, like for me, based on like what I like, this really works, but for someone else who's not that, it doesn't work.
Exactly.
And they will go, oh yeah, I see that James likes these types of films, or he really values that in a film. That doesn't necessarily mean it's exactly what I value, but you can go, oh, but George actually values these types of things, and whoever you listen to. So I think it's like, a good review, I think, should always serve your experience and how well you think it works for other people. Exactly. Like films like Moana 2 and Little Mermaid live action remake maybe are really great if it's a thing you're going to take your kids to. Yep. I'm a 30-year-old with no and I feel very strange when I go like in the middle of the day on a Friday to go watch the Little Mermaid remake, and I'm like, yeah, it's fine. I think if you've got kids, you probably enjoy it. That's all the insight I can put into that film.
Just sitting in a room full of like...
Versus if it does happen where I'm just like the only man there. Whereas versus if I had a child who was like, I could talk about how much they loved it, which would bring value to my review. So again, it's just like, the more you add numbers, the less it makes sense. Yeah, I always get activated when you ask me about this.
This really reminds me of the time when I was back in sixth form, we all went to see Finding Dory, just because follow up to Finding Nemo. But it was just a group of boys. We just all went to see it. Lads, and in the row behind us was like our head of sixth form and his family, and it was like
Isn't it worse when you see a teacher outside of school? I used to see teachers at my local cinema on a Friday night, and I'd hate it. I'd absolutely hate it. I was like, this is my time. You're following round my places that I go.
Yeah. Oh, man. Anyhow, quick fire questions. Yes. Let's get into them. I know you guys do a version of this where you interview various people kind of on a similar topic, but you ready?
I'm ready. Okay. I also I appreciate this is what I do to other people, but I hate being asked these questions. I'm always like, damn it.
Well, you're going to love this episode then. So James, first up, your favourite film, first one that comes to mind.
Okay, many different things I could point to. The one I often go for, which is not always the most obvious answer I think people know, is a film called Shame from 2011, directed by Steve McQueen. It's not a nice film to recommend someone. It's a really dark, slightly nasty and very, very sad assessment of addiction and family ties and darkness from a childhood. But I think it's so brilliant. It stars Michael Fassbender and Carey Mulligan, who are both brilliant in this. They're playing a very, very dramatic role, but very realistically and very dry. And I think you need really talented actors to do that. It's about this guy called Brandon who lives an incredibly nomadic and shark-like life. And he has this compulsive sex addiction. But even though sex addiction is the addiction the film deals with, I think it really is an amazing study of addiction and how destructive it can be. And I know it's one of my favorite films because when I watched it for the first time, the ending's one of my favorite endings in a film.
Yeah,
it's incredible.
I can see Fassbender right now. Like, I can see the image
and not knowing what he's about to do. I don't want to spoil it in case people haven't seen it, but I really, really recommend you watch it. And I think about that moment on that scene on the tube, the subway, all the time, and it's just stuck with me. The times I've rewatched it, I only am reaffirmed by how much I love this film. It's very dry. It's not particularly a happy watch, but I think it's so interesting. There's everything that isn't said is just as important as what is. I think it's one of Michael Fassbender's best performances.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's got Steve McQueen directing with such a secure, steady hand. And I just think it's brilliant, and I've never stopped thinking about it ever since. So along with a bunch of other films, which I could throw Social Network, Town to Mr. Ripley, The Matrix, Nocturnal Animals, are all films I absolutely adore. But I think for some reason, I can't get Shame out of my head. And it's like my recommendation for everyone. I mean,
that's a great take. I mean, I've never met anyone whose favorite film is Shame. And I think that's like, it is such a, I've only seen it the one time. So it's definitely one I want to revisit and sort of unpack for a second time. But
it's really beautiful as well to watch. Despite it being quite intense subject matter, it's quite a pleasure to be in its company. Lots of unbroken shots, really interesting dialogue. It's also just about like relationships and love dynamics, and like a really explored dynamic, I think, is like sibling relationships in film, and this film really sort of unpacks that again through sort of it's alluding to a troubled past through abuse. But if you're in for something really interesting,
prepare yourselves, guys.
My mate was like, texting me, and he was like, "Oh mate, I really want to watch a good film. Can you send me a recommendation?" I was like, "Oh, you should watch Shame. It's my favorite film." And he watched it with his mum, and that's not a film you watch with your mum. And afterwards, I was like, "How was the film?" And he was like, "Yeah, I mean, I watched it with my mum." And I was like, "I wouldn't have said watch it with your mum." But,
that's a great episode idea, actually. Top 10 films to not watch with your parents.
That's a really good idea. What's a film you should not watch with your mum? Yeah.
Oh, great pick. What's a film that makes you cry?
So a film that makes me cry, I'm going to go with The Truman Show.
Yep.
Brilliant movie, specifically towards the end when he's on that boat and they're crashing the waves on him, and they're just at the absolute the ends of their manipulation, and Truman just goes, "You're gonna have to kill me," and he howls into the sun. And then similarly, one of my favorite stills from a film is when he gets to the edge. This is spoilers for The Truman Show. When he hits the edge of his reality and his world, and there are those steps walking up to the door.
Of course.
What that represents to me is an idea, like the edge of our known universe and the edge of his entire world, the door that leads to greater discovery and sort of like his wider, sort of aliving of the world. I just think is brilliant, and I think everything he goes through is just fantastic, and the whole thing that he has with his dad, I think, is just heartbreaking. And every time I watch that, Jim Carrey just delivers the goods. He is it's a masterclass in acting from Jim Carrey.
Brilliant.
Marley and Me, like,
of course.
I'm only a human being. I've had dogs before. Absolutely. That film should have a warning sign, I think, when you watch it.
Causes emotional distress.
You're in a dog. 28 years later, just recently, I bawled like a baby.
So did we? Yeah. And
I was really surprised by everything to do with Ray Fiennes in that film. The whole idea of letting someone go and placing them amongst the dead with the rest of them, and taking something which should be a horrifying, scary image, a skull and a tower of skulls, but making it beautiful.
Oh yeah.
I just was completely blown away by it. Watched it again to check I wasn't just in a weird mood. Absolutely got me. And then opening of Up. Best and saddest quick cry you'll ever see in a film.
Great picks.
Sorry. I'm giving you a couple of answers.
What's a film that makes you laugh?
I'm going to go with The Hangover 1.
Brilliant.
It's such a great experience watching that for the first time. We snuck in to go and see it. We were 14, I think, when it came out, so just a year. Was it an 18? Was it 15 or an 18?
I think it's a 15.
15. Bought tickets to see either Cars or Cars 2, but snuck in to see The Hangover. So that element that we were being naughty and like seeing something we shouldn't have seen made it so much funnier. But I think that Hangover movie, I try to paint the sequels out of my head, because like I often describe making a sequel to a film you shouldn't. It's kind of like when you have icing on a cake and it falls over and you try and like smush it back together with your hands, but it doesn't quite look the same. That's what I felt like 2 and 3 were. But I really do believe if they hadn't made 2 and 3, 1 would be really, really highly regarded as one of the greatest comedies of all time. I love the way that it looks like a mafia crime film. It doesn't look like a comedy. You had all of those actors in there who, kind of, some people knew who they'd been around a little bit, but that refreshing palate cleanser of not having a predisposed idea of who these people were just made it all new and interesting, and as comedy personalities so much funnier, because I was discovering Zach Galifianakis, I was discovering Ed Helms, and Bradley Cooper I'd kind of seen in some things, but for me it was just the funniest, most dry, most outrageous film, and I just all the way to the credits when you see the camera roll, I was just howling with laughter, and it was a brilliant film.
This film is so informative to our sort of friendship and our friendship groups. We've often argued who's who from the Wolfpack, as you do. Isaac is convinced that he's Phil, but you know what? You can have Phil, because Phil's actually not that good of a guy. You know, he's all right. You can take Phil. I don't know who that leaves me with, but. There you go. Yeah, Hangover is one of my favorite comedies as well. What's a film?
Sorry, just Step Brothers. I love. I could watch it again and again. And again. Step Brothers.
Of course. Of course. What's a film you think is underrated?
I'm going to go with Revolutionary Road. Film directed by Sam Mendes. And I actually think it's criminally underseen, actually, considering that it stars Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet.
Michael Shannon
my favourite Michael Shannon performance.
Yeah.
It has an amazing cast. It's got Kathy Bates, David Harbour, and it's just, again, not a nice film. It's a really nasty assessment of 1950s Americana, and also just about gender, men and women. It's got an amazing opening scene that I think if you start the film and watch that, you're going to be immediately hooked, because you've got Leo and Kate giving incredible performances. Yeah,
she's like smoking the cigarette by the
smoking by the car, and they have this the car fight when they pull over on the road, and they just have this horrible argument, and then they sort of, it's unresolved, and the film music kicks in and you get the title sequence, and it's just about a relationship that festers, that's toxic, and again, like it's not a film that I think reviewed really well, but when I've gone back to watch it, I've always backed it as a really great movie. Michael Shannon's character is such an interesting character in that film, because he's the only one who tells the truth. Everyone else in that film lies, and he really upsets people by telling the truth and telling people exactly who they are. So I really recommend people go and watch it. It's brilliant. It is really good. And I remember it got sort of the big argument scene that that Leo and there's a couple
Kate had.
In there,
got remember during COVID when everyone started making greatest acting of all time montages? I've abandoned my boy, and it was all
Jake Gyllenhaal in the mirror.
That always.
I'm abandoned my boy. I love it. I've seen it many times.
Check it out. It is a really great.
His one's
underrated
like,
film.
Fuck you, bro. Sorry, can we swear on this?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, we go.
What's a film you think is overrated?
So I've got two here. One is a very recent example. And that's Emilia Perez. And it is technically overrated because it was nominated for Best.
Yeah, if you could look at it like that, yes.
And look, George saw it early. He saw it way before me, months early, and he saw it in like a press screening, which can sometimes be like a film vacuum. You see it alone in a dark box in a small screen. You really sometimes see something you don't quite have a gauge for. You know, like, was that actually good? Yeah. And he came out of it being like pretty sure it was rubbish, but he hadn't spoken to anyone about it. And he came to me and he was like, I think it's really bad. Like, I don't get it.
He was suffering in silence.
Suffering. It's like musical. And he was like, James, I really kind of need you to see it, just to sort of like, hopefully, he was scared I would come and watch it and be like, oh my God, beautiful. And, you know, it got nominated for Best Picture, and obviously I did eventually watch it when it was on Netflix, and it baffled me because not only was it the worst of the pool of films that were nominated for Best Picture, I think it might have been the worst film I'd seen that year. So, and the fact of the thing is that, could I call it overrated when most of like the industry peers I've spoken to and reviewers would agree with me? The fact that it got escalated to be nominated for Best Picture, I just think is baffling. The film is baffling and strange and just didn't work on any level. I think it did a lot to regress any sort of conversation I think it wanted to have about gender and trans issues and telling a story. It's not the way I think we need to go. So that's like a recent famous example for me. Another film I think is maybe overrated is The Tree of Life. Which is a film that for a long time, weirdly, would be at the top of lists in like the greatest films of all time. And I did see it, and I think there are some really good bits of it. I think Brad Pitt's doing great work. I think Jessica Chastain's doing great work. But I think it's really long and indulgent and slightly boring. There are long, multiple minutes unbroken takes of dinosaurs drinking water in a stream at the dawn of the universe, and I just think it's a little bit pretentious to my taste, and so I'm going to say it's overrated.
Have you seen a film called A Ghost Story?
No, but that
is almost like a good alternative, I think, to The Tree of Life.
Okay,
I feel like it's a good sort of existential sort of look on humanity and the timeline of the universe, I guess.
It's beautifully shot, man. It's all on like an ultra wide, and it's very much like naturally lit and sun soaked, and it's got some beautiful shots in it, but I think I really don't want to sit down and go back into it because I think it's a bit overindulgent.
What is your favorite or one of your favorite performances in a film?
Okay, I'm going to go with Paul Bettany as Geoffrey Chaucer in A Knight's Tale.
Yes.
You seen that movie?
I have seen it. I saw it literally in my teens, so I don't actually remember it too well, but I remember loving it. I remember it was almost like a guilty pleasure at the time. I've seen it in a while.
What a great movie A Knight's Tale is. So I would have loved to have been in the writer's room when someone said, I have a rock and roll jousting film for you, and they just went, yes, let's make that movie. And it's going to have Geoffrey Chaucer walk in completely naked. And we're going to play Queen, and we will rock you, and we're just going to have fun with it. It's a jousting film, medieval jousting film with loads of like, rock music in it. Heath Ledger, Mark Addy, Paul Bettany, and
Mark Addy.
Once Paul Bettany comes on screen, butt naked, you just can't take your eyes off him, and he is his hype man.
I'm just going to clip that.
Clip it up.
Clip that one.
Because that is exactly what happened, and you can't take your eyes off him, not just because he's funny, but he's got so much charisma. He is the one that markets Williams' jousting fights and gives these amazing speeches. And the whole time watching that film, you're just like, hell yeah, this is great. He's also a very good friend. And I just think that movie is such a, like you said, a great guilty pleasure. 2003, 2004.
Yes.
They don't make them like they used to. You don't think you'd get a rock and roll jousting film made.
No.
So I'm going to go with Paul. And I think like Paul Bettany was getting... He had like a sort of quiet time in the noughties maybe, and has obviously become a huge star because of his Jarvis and now Vision stuff. But I've always been like, no, Paul Bettany's brilliant in Wimbledon. He's been brilliant, I guess, in like The Da Vinci Code. But Knight's Tale is Geoffrey Chaucer. That's the one.
There you go. What is your favourite cinema to go to?
Okay, so really big question. I think it totally depends on what type of film you're going to see, what mood you're in, if you're with people. I think the default answer I have to give right now, because of where I think modern cinema is heading, the most excited and hyped I feel to go see a film is when I go to the BFI IMAX in Waterloo.
Yeah.
Purely because it's not just the biggest, but they will often, it's a pretty good bet that if they can get the film to project for you behind the back, actually project the film through celluloid, they will. And if you've seen a film projected in celluloid, it is like the gold standard of watching stuff. Yes, it could be great in IMAX 70mm, which is like the highest fidelity you can watch a film in, but also just in general, they have the film reels there because it's the BFI. So I'd say to a lot of people, it's never a bad bet to watch a film there. And just because of the way that I think we're losing the multiplexes in the UK, we're either going for that bougie, very comfortable, everyman, Curzon will sell you a glass of Malbec and a nice burger, or they'll go big format IMAX. You're going to see more of the film than you can see at home. You need to see it on the big screen. You didn't see it all if you didn't see it on IMAX. So I'm kind of like... what that represents right now, these films like Dune, One Battle After Another, anything Christopher Nolan's doing, the biggest Marvel films, all of them are leaning into this really large format experience, and so much of my excitement will come from that. So I'm going to choose the BFI IMAX.
Wonderful.
But then, like, just for me, for where I grew up, Finchley Road O2 Centre View, that's where I had my first dates. That's where I saw films for the first time. It's not like a particularly nice... I
know the cinema. It's
just where I've been going my whole life, and it's like still technically my local, so I will say the Finchley Road O2.
There you go.
Just reason other than I went a lot.
Shout out to Finchley Road.
Yeah.
What's a bad film that you love?
Okay, I'm going to go with National Treasure, which I don't think is a bad film, but I am such a sucker for a swashbuckling adventure romp with the tombs, and you pull the lever and the stone thing opens up, and anything like in the Temple of Doom, when they're in the thing and the spikes come out, like that is pure cinema. Adventure fun cinema for me, and I just think Nicolas Cage absolutely kills it. It's a heist movie as well as being a sort of a love letter to American history. And when he just looks at the camera and goes, "I'm going to steal the Declaration of Independence," and he's like, "I'm going to live this line, but I'm going to give it no energy." It works. I'm like, Nicolas Cage, you are just a genius. And when in the sequel, when he's like, I'm going to kidnap the president of the United States. And he does it. It's fantastic. That is, and I think I stand by the heist in National Treasure to steal the Declaration of Independence is a really, really great heist sequence.
My favorite of those Nick Cage sort of Disney kind of films, and it's not even a great film, but it was a guilty pleasure back in the day, was The Sorcerer's Apprentice with Jay Baruchel.
Yes, I have seen that.
And Alfred Molina.
Yeah. Talks like that. I don't know.
He's got a really distinct voice.
Yeah. What's your biggest film ick or red flag?
Okay, so I've got two here.
Yeah.
One is very specific. One is more general. I'll start with the general one. The general one, and this is a big reason of why recently I just didn't get on with the new Superman film. And it's big, rubbery CG monsters in a live action film. For some reason, and not all the time, I'd say 4 out of 5 times I see them, I just go, please, this isn't my taste. And Superman is a really great example of where it just doesn't work for me as a threat, a storytelling technique, as an antagonist. I just think there's a disconnect. They always still look soft. Punches don't land. The destruction just doesn't really have any impact. I think there are great examples of where it's been done really well. Like I think some of the recent Godzilla films, for example, that's technically an example of that, which I think is done well. It just isn't to my taste. It feels cartoony. I feel like I'm being aged out of certain films, which might be true. But I just kind of switch off, and I'm like, this isn't cool. I feel like a nerd for engaging with this. I'm not saying like I'm sort of snobbery about the type of content I engage with. I just kind of don't get on with it, and it's an immediate thing for me that turns me off and knocks me down as I'm watching a film.
Absolutely. It also doesn't help the fact that those sort of sequences as well, a lot of them, especially in Superman, are shot in broad daylight as well. So like when you have Godzilla, a lot of that stuff is rainy, like at dusk. Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like the openings of the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. Really bad examples of that. Like when he's in the dream sequence jumping through, terrible. Then you cut to the city, and it's just like I'm not going to call it AI slop because it's not AA, but it feels like digital slop just being served up. It feels kind of lazy, and I know there are sort of amazing examples where that's worked, but yeah, typically live action, broad daylight, big CG rubbery monster. It's a big ick for me. The other one is quite specific, and that's films that change frame rates during the film.
Oh.
So this happens if you go and see certain very specific films in certain screens. So the biggest example where this really annoyed me is in Avatar 2, The Way of Water. That film is shot mostly at 48 frames per second. For anyone who doesn't know, all films are shot at 24 frames a second. We all agreed as a society that that's like how many frames should be in a second, and we get like a certain amount of motion blur.
You must love the Hobbit films then.
Well, no, so here's the thing. So I'm not a purist. I don't have a problem with The Hobbit screening the entire film in 48 frames. I remember seeing the first Hobbit in high frame rate, and I really enjoyed the effect. But the whole film was 48 frames per second, and it created this very immersive, fluid thing. And I don't have a problem with that. What Avatar did is whenever they were cutting to the bits that weren't all CG, or they were sort of like out of the jungle and the wild bits, it was 24 frames. But then they would cut to the flying bits and the water, and it'd be 48 frames. And I found the whole experience. So I really, really noticed the switching. And I watched it at the BFI IMAX, which is the only time I'm like, this was the wrong scene. It was too big. It was too blue. It was too long. I was in 3D. So it was just, I'd been like sort of waterboarded by this experience. And I was like, I was really baffled. I thought there was something wrong with the screening. I was like, why are the frame rates changing? They should have just shot the whole film at 48 if they wanted that fluidity. So a film that's done it well is the Spider-Verse movies. They shoot I think a lower frame rate for like the sketchy cartoon feel, but during the action scenes they up it. I think that works, but they get away with it because that's a digital film. I think for live action you need to commit to one. I'm not saying you have to shoot at 24 frames. If you want more fluid motion, by all means, but stick to it. Don't make it more jarring.
And in Across the Spider-Verse as well, I think it's Daniel Kaluuya's Spider-Man who's animated at a different frame rate to everybody else.
They do loads of those. The different universes will be doing it, but like it's a general thing. It was like the fight scenes, they'll up it. Dialogue scenes, they'll lower it. And I think it totally works there. And this might very well be just a thing that I notice because I work in video and I do frame rates and I'm always looking at these things. But when I go to see Avatar Fire and Ash this year, I'm going to choose a very specific type of screen to watch it in a way that is just like the least distracting to me. So that's my niche technical one for people, which I'm sure
that's a good point.
No one else knows what I'm talking about.
What's your biggest green flag?
back to that same conversation, when I get to watch a film that's been projected in its film reel. So most recently, One Battle After Another.
Did you see it in VistaVision? Yeah.
Anything that Christopher Nolan does, if you can see it in IMAX 70mm. I saw The Hateful Eight in ultra-wide Panavision at the Leicester Square Odeon, but way back in the day. And the reason that it doesn't mean the film's good, I just think if someone has gone through the trouble of not just shooting it on film, but making film reel scans to deliver to cinemas in general, I'd say that's quite a good sign that a lot of care, love and attention has been given to the projection of the film.
Absolutely.
And so obviously you don't have to see it in that format, but I feel like when that's available, it's usually a good sign, and quite a good sign that there's a real artistic intention to what's been made, and it's going to be a very, very good visual experience.
There you go, man.
Mine are quite technical now.
Well said. Well said. No, it's true. Myself and Clara, we spent like the last Saturday the entire day at the Prince Charles, and we watched Magnolia and There Will Be Blood back to back in 35mm, and it was just, I feel like I completed cinema just after seeing it. It's just brilliant.
I'm surprised sometimes people don't know that when they go to watch a film,
it's actually
that they're seeing a digital scan of it most of the time, and that the film isn't actually playing. And I'll be like, oh, I saw it. Like the actual, sometimes at the BFI IMAX, if you're at the back, you can hear the loud IMAX projector start when they finish the trailers. I'm like, oh no, like they have the film reel there, and they stitch it together, and you watch it, and it's like the best way. So I'd encourage people to like do it once in your life. Find a film that's either like being re-released, or if there's chances are Christopher Nolan's going to do it. Like if you're in a major city and you have the option, just definitely do it. You won't regret it.
Yeah, no, very well said. Yeah. What is your favorite film score?
Oh, you're killing me with these questions.
Sorry, I'm so sorry.
Many. So I'm going to throw out some nominations. So Howard Shore, The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
I can't be expressed enough. Not just because there are so many great moments, but the variety of different types of score. Like little one-off moments that just get all the love. The way he does big, does small, does intimate, does epic, it's all there, and it's just a masterpiece of music.
It's the greatest use of like leitmotifs ever, I think. It's just brilliant.
It's fantastic. It's absolutely, my favorite is when they are in Moria and the Dwara Dwell score, and Sam says, "Isn't that a sight for sore eyes?" and the music just rises.
It's brilliant. There's there's the Moria sequence. I think I'm trying to remember the name of the track on the thing, on the Fellowship.
It's Dwara Dwell, I think, or
there's
oh no, this is a different one.
This is when they go in and when they see the city for the first time.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
And but that leitmotif, I think Howard Shore took and he made it and he developed it as the main theme for the Dwarves of Erebor in the Hobbit film. So if you like listen to that
and I love the Hobbit score is also as well. But yeah, like just that musical moment, you're seeing an empty, lost civilization. But it's that amazing thing about like every time you turn a rock with Tolkien, it reveals an entire history that is written, and that score really shows me that there was a society here and a history, and even though you're not seeing it in that frame, the music tells so much more of a story of something that was there. So I mean, that's just one example.
Speaking my language, James.
Of Howard Shore. I'm going to say James Newton Howard's score for The Village, I think, is really good. Not a perfect film, but his score, if you go back and rewatch it, the moments and the scenes of tension when James Newton Howard really cooks, I think elevates that film to be something a lot better than I think it is. James
Newton Howard, I think, is the king of doing this. Composing not necessarily great films, but just coming in with just the film that I always go to for a amazing score in a terrible film is The Last Airbender,
right?
Which is James Newton Howard. The score is incredible.
Right.
Everything else, not so much.
Yeah. But it will like elevate you.
Absolutely,
this is a much better film than I think it is. But no, totally about James Newton Howard. Like especially in The Village, there's a really sort of like folksy, twinkly, like wooden wind instruments. But there's a lot of like frantic tension, energy, nervousness, mystery, and the way that film unfolds. I just think the score, he did a really good job with that score. I'm just gonna throw out Hans Zimmer Interstellar. Remains to this day, I think, the most like jaw dropped I've been by a film, and I think the organ work in that is incredible. But my pick officially, sorry for being
no,
is John Williams' score for Jurassic Park.
Oh my gosh!
It is my favorite, one of my favorite films. But and I was reminded of this when I went to go see Jurassic World Rebirth, which is not a film I liked. But when they have the scene where they do the score with the Bronchosaurus, which is just playing the hits for the people who want to go see a Jurassic World film, but it got me, man.
Yeah.
It totally got me. And I think one of my favorite scenes of like realizing Spielberg's a master at what he does is the sense of discovery in that first film when they're turning the head.
Oh, yeah.
All you see are
reactions. Yep.
And it's the perfect end to Act 1 of that film where you're building to this tension of seeing the dinosaurs for the first time. And he's like, how did you do this? And John Hammond goes, I'll show you. Boom, Act 2. It's just phenomenal.
It's brilliant. That is my all-time favorite film. Like, I adore that film. So you're speaking my language, man. Like, genuinely.
I really love it. So I'm sure maybe you've seen there are some amazing breakdowns of like the choreography of camera and actor on YouTube, and I was like, oh my god, it's not just like a fun blockbuster. It's like a master at work.
Yeah.
I love that movie, and I think the score is just epic. It's
fabulous.
Absolutely epic.
Horror or comedy?
Do you know what? I'm going to go horror purely because 2025 has been such a great year for horror.
Yeah.
I feel like you've got, is cinema dying? Is it not? I don't know. We only get these large, big, epic superhero films or like large format IMAX films. And then there's like all of these comedies and romance films who've been sort of like sent to the graveyard of Netflix. I'm not saying that's the case, but all the innovation in storytelling, character, cinematography for low budget, scrappy, fun filmmaking right now is coming from horror. It's always held in, I think, for the last 10 years as being some of the most interesting places to, for artistic expression in cinema. So right now I'm going to really like champion horror for what it's doing. Yeah,
and it's also the genre that almost, I feel like, births a lot of new directors
Absolutely,
as well. Yeah. Sci-fi or fantasy?
I'm going to go with sci-fi, but a lot of fantasy I love is also sci-fi. But I'll go sci-fi.
Okay.
Yeah.
Blockbuster or indie?
Again, like, I don't know. I'll go Blockbuster. Yeah.
Nice. What's a film you wish you watched in the cinema?
Okay, so I have a few answers for this. I think the main answer I want to give is Kill Bill.
Yep.
Either one or two. That was the first Tarantino I watched, and I think I would advise other people who hadn't seen a Tarantino to watch Kill Bill because it's just dripping with style, and specifically Tarantino's style, non-linear storytelling, chapters, interesting camera shots. And I think that it's such a fun, expressive movie that I really wish I could have experienced in the cinema and been blown away by. And obviously it came out in 93, 94, so I was literally not...
Was it 93?
I think so. Is it 94?
I thought it was Kill Bill, right?
Kill Bill 1.
I thought it was late 90s or early 2000s.
Kill Bill.
I might be wrong.
2000. Oh, it's 2003.
Yeah,
you're right.
yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
Okay, sorry. I'm completely wrong on that.
No.
I was 6 or 7. So but I just think that would have been amazing to see.
The fight, the Crazy 88 fight. I mean,
Crazy 88, and I think like it was something. When did I watch it? I think I watched it when I was 17 or 18, and I think it was like a real moment for me where I could sense my my taste in film maturing.
Yes.
I think that's really common for Tarantino because he messes so much with form and structure and gets away with it and writes really well. So I was like, oh my god, this is so different, but I really like it. It's not pretentious and stuffy, but it's clearly artsy, and I think it like just elevated a lot of my tastes. So
which of the two do you prefer?
I think 1 over 2, but like I'm splitting hairs.
Sure.
I think they're both great. And then I'll just give some other shout outs to The Matrix. I think would have been incredible to see. The Matrix is a film that is both thought provoking and profound and awesome. You go like, hell yeah. And you're like, but that's a really interesting point you make about philosophy. The Departed, one of my favourite Scorsese films, just a masterful crime drama, really layered storytelling that's just brilliant. And I think I would have loved to have had like a pure uninterrupted experience watching that. And then The Prestige, I was like technically quite late to The Prestige because I only watched it when I was like 18 and it came out in 2007. I would have loved to have just been blown away by that movie. I love it so much. So yeah, Prestige.
Who's a director whose work you want to watch more of?
This is a really easy question for me. The answer is Tom Ford.
Yep.
Only made 2 films.
Yeah.
One of which is one of my favourites, which is
Nocturnal Animals.
So Tom Ford, and I think, by the way, he is writing, from what I've heard, another film that he's going to direct. So Tom Ford, I think my answer to this question is because we don't get many films from him, and there's only 2 films. But when I do watch his films, they are so considered and stylish and thoughtful.
Yep.
And Nocturnal Animals is a film that, again, I think about a lot. Very dark. Not a common thing where I'm re-recommending like.
Do a double back-to-back Shame and Nocturnal Animals.
No, not at all. But that was a scene where I saw Aaron Taylor-Johnson. And I was like,
what a performance! What a performance!
Actor. That whole roadside scene, I think, is just brilliant.
He also does a really good impression of Tom Ford. I don't know. I think he was on like
he?
the James Corden show back in the
Ford.
day. Yeah.
He sort of talks like this, and you'll never see the other side of my face. I don't reveal it. There's a really funny video, it's unrelated to film, where Tom Ford is talking about, here are my style guides.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
men. Always wear perfume. Too much. Wear socks. Don't have old socks. Always have new. I could listen to Tom Ford talk about anything for hours, but he clearly has such a great eye for cinema and storytelling, and his films are like juicy and unctuous, but not at the expense of being shallow.
Yeah.
And I think Nocturnal Animals, not only is it gorgeous to look at, it's deeply sad, deeply dark, deeply violent, and the ending, which I won't spoil, just leaves you with so many thoughts. I really remember, again, which is why I know I love it, I really remember leaving the cinema and just like walking with my thoughts, being like, I'm so lost in the end of this story and what it means, and I can't wait to rewatch it, and I have, and I think it's brilliant. I'm going to rewatch it.
Yeah, I have seen the film a couple of times now, and I've shown it to sort of two groups of people. The first time I just showed it to like sort of a group of my friends and like my younger brother and some of his friends, and they were like, what the hell are we watching? Because you know the opening credits?
Yeah. Really,
what the fuck
gets their attention. Yeah. It's weird to like sit people down to watch like, I don't know, sad, violent, nasty films, but you like, it's really touched you in some way. Like, oh no, you should really watch Shame and Nocturnal Animals. I really like them, and they're like, all right.
Yeah. If you were stuck on a desert island, James, you got to pick 4 films. What 4 films would you take with you?
Okay, again, really hard question. Hate you for asking it. So I'm going to go for Step Brothers.
Yep.
One of my favourite comedies that I think I've watched so many times and I don't get bored of watching it. I still find it really, really, really funny. I think Mean Girls.
Nice. Really
funny, layered film I could watch forever. Can I count Lord of the Rings as one film?
A lot of people do. I'll give it to you.
The extended editions of Lord of the Rings. That's like 13 hours of entertainment. Yep. And then I'm going to go for, I've got like a sort of short list, but not 4. Maybe Notting Hill.
Yep.
Because one of my favourite romantic films. I've seen it a lot of times, and every time it really, really works. It's all the beats work. I love the way it shoots adult friendships and dinner parties. And so I was having a conversation with someone who was talking about how us as millennials, right, we grew up with loads of like trinkets and DVDs and boxes and cards and physical games, and our entertainment systems when we were younger were like cluttered and busy and frantic. We had toys all over the floor, and what's happened in the last like 15 years is everything's become digitized and smooth and minimalist, and our design aesthetics are very clean as like a reaction to all of that chaos and busyness from our childhood. And everything now is like digital. I have all my photos here, all my music, all my films. But what that film really captures really well is the design of the houses that they're in, both Hugh Grant's character and his friends, is that they're just like, there are stacks of books and trinkets and marbles and board games, and it's not messy. There's just character in the set design. And now when we're designing sets for modern films, we don't get to express that much because everything now is so minimalist. And I think we're actually like going back as a society, the pendulum is swinging more towards like collecting analog media. But when I look at the scenes in that, I actually am sort of like slightly valorizing and longing for this time when I think people used to really have more expressions of art in their homes. And that's the specific reason why I really like that film. And if you rewatch it, go and just take a look at the way the homes are done, and I think you'll go like, yeah, we don't decorate our homes like that anymore. So I'll go for Notting Hill.
Yeah, I mean, Clara's house is a great example of this versus my house. My house is quite like just sort of minimalist and chic, and hers is very like, there's so much. Like, you could look at any corner of the room and there's a story there, or there's a memento there that tells you so much.
I got this from this place.
Yeah.
I think it's also like, not to get to sort of like depressing about it, I think it's also a reflection of like tighter economic times. So people were, in general, the 80s was a period of excess and acquisition. We wanted to acquire, there was money, people could buy properties. And now I think like post-crash, post-COVID, whatever you want to call it, younger people in general have less money and can express themselves. Art is an indulgence. And I think we're just like expressing ourselves less with things, and it became cooler and cleaner and frankly easier to just have like less in the home. This is totally unrelated to film, but I think like you can see our era reflected in our environment, and I think like that's just there. It's like there's a memento. That's totally unrelated.
Now, James, final sort of questions.
Okay.
What is your favorite film of 2025, and what's your most anticipated film for the rest of 2025?
Okay. I think my favourite film of 2025 so far is 28 Years Later.
Nice.
I liked 28 Days Later. I hadn't seen 28 Weeks Later. And I was like medium excited for 28 Years Later. I love Danny Boyle. But I didn't really have like a sense that I was going to come out and love that film. And as I said like earlier in the podcast, once Ralph Fiennes gets on screen and I really start to understand what this film is about.
Yeah.
I think it's just an absolute triumph of a movie. And like anyone who's ever sort of experienced loss of a family member, that whole moment of putting someone you love amongst the stars and amongst other people in the dead just absolutely took my breath away. And it was almost like therapy for me watching that film. And I ended up seeing it at Sony, which is like it's a great screen, but it's like a black box in the vacuum. And I saw it with just like, I think there was one other person in the room, and I was totally like blown away by it. And we left the screen and we're like, that was amazing, right? He's like, yeah, that was absolutely fucking incredible.
Yeah.
And I saw it again at a premiere in a big crowd, which also worked. But
and then you got the chance to interview Danny Boyle and Alex Garland, right?
Danny Boyle and Alex Garland, which is such like a career highlight for me.
Yeah.
I love both of their films. And I got to just ask them about like memorials to death and how they were inspired by, monuments they'd seen in Cambodia and similarly at the World Trade Center in New York. And there's sort of this like stoic resonance and energy to them, and how they'd recreated that with the Bone Temple. Like visually as an image, I thought it was brilliant. Incredibly expressive cinematography. Again, another reminder that it's not about how expensive the cameras you use are. I think that the story that everyone came out of it was like, it's shot on an iPhone, and it's like, yeah, it's the iPhone that's done it, and a bunch of other cameras. It's more that it's about the best tool to get the shot that they need at that moment. I think that's what's so interesting about it. So that film is just totally brilliant. And also most recently, I'd say One Battle After Another is straight to the top. Yeah, I've just reviewed it on the show, and what a brilliant, interesting film.
I know, right? I saw it a second time, last night.
Nice, yeah.
And everything I was feeling for the first time I watched it was validated even more the second time. It's just,
I really want to rewatch it while it's still in the cinema. Yeah. And we saw A Big Bold Beautiful Journey the day before we saw that.
But yes,
thought it was absolutely rubbish. And so my main takeaway is that One Battle After Another is over an hour longer than A Big Bold Beautiful Journey. And I came out of both of those films going, the length of the film has nothing to do with the minutes of its runtime. It has everything to do with pace, storytelling, directing. Like, I didn't feel the time in One Battle After Another, and that's 2 hours and 50 minutes long. But in Big Bold Beautiful Journey, which is like 100 minutes, I was like, oh, is this gonna check my watch? Just couldn't get through it. So that's like sort of a main takeaway for me of why I think, I'm realizing runtime, minutes is minutes. Is the film good? I think that's going to be that one,
There you go. And most anticipated for the rest?
Oh, sorry, most anticipated. I think The Smashing Machine, which I've not seen yet.
Yes.
Really excited. And I think it's not necessarily because I think it's going to be like the best film of the year. I think there's just a lot of interest in that film, the filmmaker, the performance, how it's going to line up for the Oscar contention, how The Rock is branding himself. All of the conversations around it is interesting. And I look forward to being part of that conversation and seeing it. And I love Safdie Brothers movies. So we've got one of them there. It's just stripping down The Rock from his just like megalithic sort of superhero skin that we see him in. I'm excited to see that performance. So I think Smashing Machine. Have you seen it yet?
Not yet. No. Yeah. It's coming out like next week, a week after, something like that, theatrically.
Yeah, I think it's first week of October. I think it's coming out.
Because I know there was a screening recently for it.
Yes, George
this week,
but I haven't been yet.
And they showed up. The Rock and Emily Blunt showed up.
I think they did. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for going through that round of quick questions. That was great. I think I know now a little, even more of a better taste of your the way you kind of approach films. I want to say it's quite fascinating. Good. So
wait, what is that? Dark and sad
and depressing, and that's it, guys. That's the episode.
Thank you. Go and watch all my sad films.
So, guys, today I've got James on the couch. Like I said at the start of the episode, you might have seen we had George on a couple of months ago, and George and I spoke a lot about directors, filmmakers, some of our favorites, specifically referring to our favorites and our least favorites from specific directors. Today we also have a sort of similar style of discussion in that we are going to be talking about directors, but with a sort of a bit of a fun twist on it. This one is essentially called Directors as Drinks, or its longer title, What If Hollywood Filmmakers Were Alcoholic Beverages? So essentially how this is going to work is James and I are going to be picking out certain cocktails or alcoholic drinks out of a bowl. They're on a piece of paper.
I'd say it's a martini glass, Dylan.
It's a martini glass. We upgraded. Cheers. And essentially, we're both going to be giving our picks on who we feel like, which director we feel like suits that drink the best, based on a range of different factors, including sort of their filmmaking style. So are they kind of like smooth and refined like a martini, or are they a bit chaotic and sort of fizzy like a rum and coke? Their stories and their characters, what tells tales that match the vibe of these beverages, their themes and their overall sort of filmography. So does the director's body of work line up with the kind of depth and the sweetness or the punch of the drink?
Like it's not scientific, it's kind of just vibe.
Yeah, it's just kind of like some of these, this is the thing, some of these I'm just like you can explain it via sort of how the drink works. And some of them I'm just like, that's flipping, well, we'll get into it. And of course, personality and reputation as well. So maybe the director just is that drink. Yeah. Just is. So James, as the guest,
here we go.
Would you like to pick out the first drink?
Here we go. And I assume we're going to have the drink every single time.
Yeah, we've got...
and then by the end, we're like, who's the Long Island? Fucking this guy.
By the end of this episode...
Okay, so the first one is glass of champagne.
Champagne. Okay, I've got one. But you go first.
Fine. I also have one. I've gone with Basler.
Yes! I was thinking, are we gonna get a drink that matches?
20.
And we've hit it right off the bat.
I mean, there you go, right? Excess, celebration,
montage-esque.
Yeah, and I'd say a glass of champagne, but specifically in the Marie Antoinette glass, the flatter one.
Yes.
I want to be like, oh, darling, we're having a gay old time. Like that's how I want to have that champagne.
Yeah, absolutely. Baz Luhrmann, I don't think there's a better answer to glass of champagne.
Like, popping champagne, spritzing, the Leonardo DiCaprio, I don't know if he's holding champagne or a martini, but that meme, the slow motion.
Yeah, Gatsby. The Great Gatsby meme. Yeah. Glamorous, extravagant, very montagey celebration. Just watch Elvis, it feels like a...
Oh,
yeah.
And Baz, come in and join on the show. Surprise me.
Guys, can you go grab our champagne flutes, please?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to...
Go on, you get that.
There we go. Okay, let's see what we have here. All right. Again, pretty straightforward one for me, but Bloody Mary.
Bloody Mary. I mean, I think we're going to agree.
Yeah, 2 for 2. It's Tarantino, mate. I mean, he loves his violence, his gore, his cinematic violence, his cinematic catharsis. The way he does that via violence. Just watch Kill Bill, like you said. Just watch Django. Just watch any of them, and.
Specifically, when you think about the Bloody Mary as a drink, not only is it a drink that people enjoy, with dinner or late at night, but it's also a drink that people have in the morning.
Yes.
Which makes it quite palatable, but strong, but intense. Like it's not an easy drink.
Yeah.
But it's something you could have quite a lot.
It is.
Like Tarantino is punchy. He's in your face. There's a lot happening. There's a lot of blood. But actually, I could watch Inglourious Basterds first thing in the morning.
of course. Yeah.
I love Bloody Mary. I don't personally like Bloody Marys. My partner loves Bloody Marys, and I think they're foul. Like, they're just not, like it's like this. It looks like when you're trying to prank your friend. It's like, oh, I made you a drink, mate.
Yes.
That's what to me like a Bloody Mary feels like. You just get all the ingredients.
Yeah, you just swing this
bit of vinegar, some Worcester sauce, tomato, alcohol. Like it doesn't feel like a real nice drink.
Yeah.
But yeah, my girl, she loves like really acidic foods.
Right.
And so she just absolutely loves a Bloody Mary. It's like when she's had a couple, I don't want to kiss her, the breath. Like I love her, but once she's had a couple of Bloody Marys, I'm like, ugh.
I love how we started this off by saying Tarantino's a Bloody Mary. And James has gone on to...
Yeah. now I'm thinking about Bloody Mary, how much I don't like them. So you got those cans of chopped tomatoes. It's like someone's just stuck a celery. There you go, mate.
So yeah, there you go. Bloody Mary is it's the first one that came to mind was Tarantino. I think for the pair of us. That's 2 for 2.
2 for 2.
Can we go 3 for 3? I don't know.
There's no way it's gonna.
Surely not.
Okay, so the next one is Mojito.
Okay, I've got one, but you picked it out, so you go first.
Okay, Mojito. Oh, did I just put that in my coffee now? Mojito, I went with Danny Boyle.
Okay, interesting.
And the reason I went with Mojito, I think, it's just on vibes, I love it, is that Mojito is very easy to drink.
Yes.
And I think Danny Boyle has a big variety of films for many different occasions. And I think you can choose many different Danny Boyle films for any sort of times. And it's like, when in doubt, order a Mojito. I think you have a very good time. When in doubt, pick a Danny Boyle film off the shelf. I think it'll be absolutely fine. That
is a great approach to the Mojito. I have slightly gone for... You're absolutely right. And my pick doesn't have the... It's an easy alcoholic drink to drink, I guess, because I was thinking David Fincher maybe because of the coldness there, or even Denis Villeneuve, but I've just gone with, because I kind of almost had to give him a drink. I've gone with Nolan because he has been spoken about as a sort of very cold and sort of the director in the... I mean, now his films are getting a little more sort of... I mean, specifically with Hoyte van Hoytema, even just color palette wise, a bit more sort of saturated colors. Yeah. He's colorblind himself, Nolan is.
Right.
So there's that element. Mojitos are minty and refreshing, and Nolan for me always... Whenever you go into a film with directed by Christopher Nolan, he's always challenging you with something new, whether that be the filmmaking or his play on time. So refreshing ideas, new and refreshing ideas.
I love how he sort of ups the ante every time, and just Oppenheimer most recently could have just been done as just like a by numbers biopic by someone else, but he was like, no, I'm going to tell this with two different time frames, different perspectives, vision, fusion, different film stocks. It's very, very non-linear. When I rewatched it a few months ago, I was like, God, it's very non-linear. Yeah. So much going on here, layering, and then when it all builds towards the end, you're really just armed with all the information.
Absolutely.
What a filmmaker.
Yeah, and this is me beginning to stretch now, but mojitos are very icy. There's a lot of crushed ice in there. Yeah. I'm thinking ice sequences, Batman Begins, Bruce Wayne training, Insomnia, the plane flying over in the opening credits.
Batman Begins when they're training on the
ice. Yep.
Father's death was not your fault.
It was your father's.
That was like, your parents' death was not your fault. It was your father's.
The ice planet on Interstellar. Yeah. Love it. But also...
Iceland scene.
Yeah. Brilliant. Also, mojitos are rum-based, and rum's quite a fun... And Nolan's films, they do have a sense of fun and explosiveness as well, because they are also blockbusters. And also, mojitos tend to have quite a crisp citrus finish. Whenever you go into a Nolan film, the cut to black is just it's a little garnish on the top. Yeah, a little... Yeah.
The rise in Interstellar, the score rises when they go to sleep, and then it goes and it goes silent when the Endurance rolls across Saturn.
Yeah, like, what a shot! Yeah, you've seen that in the BFI. You're just like, what do you like this?
You watch it. I was like, that was some of the most immersed I've ever been in a screening, because the room is black, it's massive, the screen was massive. I was like, I am floating in space. Yeah, just watching this like tiny thing roll across. Incredible.
Brilliant.
Incredible. All right.
Okay, up next. Okay, I've just gone some martini.
Oh, okay.
So a martini, well, immediately the first thing I think of when it's a martini is James Bond. So I was like, should I go with Sam Mendes because of Sci-Fi? But in the end, I just went with Hitchcock because I feel like he's it's just classic. He's a very established, deeply sophisticated director. He's a master of suspense, and that kind of controlled attention to detail is all him. Martini is elegant, timeless.
A drink you could have very much enjoyed.
Exactly.
Between takes.
Exactly. So I've just gone with Alfred Hitchcock for that one. What about yourself?
Mine is straight to Tom Ford with the martini. Chic, fashionable, sophisticated, 0 calories on it. I think he does enjoy a martini, but sleek, elegant, but not and simple, but not at the expense of complexity and taste. And so for Tom Ford there, I just think... Yeah, it's the kind of drink I imagine he is having at the end of a night, coming up with an idea for his next film. Chic little olive in there. Are you a fan of a martini?
I'm a big sweet tooth, so I do actually like sweet drinks. One of my favorite drinks is a lychee martini.
Oh right, yeah.
I think I think I'll give martinis more of a crack.
I can enjoy a martini. George is really into a martini.
Oh really? George strikes me as a martini guy.
He does give martini vibes. Yeah. I don't know what quality that is, but he does. And he does like a martini. Yeah. But they're like, the older I get, the more I appreciate one. I have a memory of like trying a martini that my mum was drinking when I was really young. She was like, yeah, you can try it, but she knew I would absolutely hate it. It's actually quite a good thing you should give a kid a martini when they're really young, and they'll never want to drink.
They'll never be an alcoholic.
I remember thinking like, you are insane to drink this. this moonshine, this petrol, this absolute engine fuel. But no, the older you get, and I guess like the more unhealthy and sort of like withered we get, we look for different things. But I have like enjoyed a dirty martini. I definitely like with lots of olives. I don't know if that's interesting at all.
Very nice. There you go.
Okay, let's go for pina colada.
Pina colada.
Okay,
This one was tricky for me.
I went for Kyle Newacek, who's the guy who's directed any of Adam Sandler's films when he's gone on holiday.
Oh,
so
of course.
Murder Mystery,
Yep.
Just Go With It. I think there's another
50 First Dates?
Is it 51? I don't
Maybe,
know
I'm
if it
not
was
sure.
50 First Dates, but like, you know that brand of Adam Sandler film where he's like, can I get someone to pay me shitloads of money to go on holiday? What's the drink of the holiday? It's a pina colada.
Yeah.
So that was the only reason I went for that one.
So
I'll do a check. And I had to check who would direct those
you
films.
said that name, I was like, what?
Yeah,
Who
yeah.
on? Yeah.
Yeah, he's an art house. Yeah, no.
He's actually gone on to do an A24 film.
Yeah, maybe in a few years you'll know.
This is me stretching and trying to assign a drink to a director I adore. I have just gone with Spielberg, and let me explain why.
Right.
I feel like pina coladas are fun, adventurous, nostalgic in a way, and this is going to sound very weird, and I don't mean for it to be weird. I just want to preface. I feel like pina coladas are one of the first drinks you would try before you're 18, just because it's quite an accessible, creamy, sweet, and I feel like that in a way, it's like the nostalgia of being young, but also like kind of having that first sip of alcohol. And obviously, Steven Spielberg is huge on nostalgia. You know, he's got so many classics and so many greats from childhood. So that's essentially the connection I have made to children drinking.
I love like the science we're trying to apply to this format, but yeah, it's like totally fair.
Yeah, sweet, vibrant, instantly sort of enjoyable.
I do quite a lot of filming on for like cruise ship brands, like oftentimes like not away because we're filming content there, but sometimes we go away on the ship and it's just like me and a producer there, and we're often like filming cocktails being made, and the one we always go for is a pina colada. And obviously once we're done filming with it, there's just 2 pina coladas there, and I always think that like something is quite gross about the pina colada because it's like cream and alcohol and fruit
coconut
syrup.
bits in it, and
but then we have a little cheeky sip of pina colada and we both just go, this is quite nice, isn't it? I'm having a good holiday. And then we'll have like 2 and then continue the rest of the workday. But
I feel you, man. I was in Croatia for a stag do earlier this year, and it was like when it hits,
stag do's, man, the drinking on stag do's, my God. The most I ever drunk, I think ever, was recently on a stag do. It nearly killed me.
Yeah,
It was absolutely insane.
This was, to be honest, this was like a one day on, one day off sort of thing. Like the group was like not a super hardcore group, and it was my first time going on a stag do as well. So it was quite I would say chill. Like it was a good stag do, but that pina colada was like, it was fantastic.
Yeah, I think it's you.
Okay, we've gone with a whiskey sour.
Whiskey sour. Okay, so so I've gone for Clint Eastwood.
Okay.
The reason I've gone for Clint Eastwood is I would think he would be something like a straight whiskey or an old fashioned or something like that, but actually, I think a whiskey sour is because I think whiskey for the association of old school classic cowboy, and sour because I reckon if you got on Clint Eastwood's nerves, you would be a bit sour and spicy. So I think like, you know, I've heard Matt Damon talk. Like Matt Damon's such a great storyteller, and I've heard him do interviews where he's talked about working with Clint Eastwood, and Clint Eastwood only likes to do one take. He wants you to be He wants you to be paired, and it better be good. And Matt Damon would talk about this thing like he'd done one take, and Clint Eastwood goes, right, great, wrap it, cut. And Matt says, I actually quite like to do another take. And he goes, why? So you can waste mine and everybody else's time. And Matt's just like, no, it's fine. It's like, right, we're wrapped. And then he just realised that for every single time he turned up to do a scene, he had to be ready. He had to be prepared. So I'm sure Clint Eastwood does like a little whiskey. But I think if you get on his wrong side, it will go sour. So that is a
great way of relating it back.
So good.
It is. I have again gone for something a bit more random. I've found myself giving a whiskey sour or assigning whiskey sour to Damien Chazelle because whiskey sours they're sweet, they're quite intense thematically, but they've also got a sense of, like, so I feel like they're quite jazzy. Yeah, they're quite jazzy. And Damien Chazelle, you know, we all know he's a jazzy guy. He blends sort of charm and sort of smoothness, kind of like how whiskey sours sort of blend like sort of a tangy sort of sensibility with smoothness as well. I guess, I don't know. This is me stretching a lot, and I had to assign someone. I think Clint Eastwood takes a big one.
Let's go. Like you get quite pissed off a lot.
Yeah. So yeah, I've gone with Damien Chazelle. After you, James.
This next one is a glass of red wine.
Okay.
This was straight to Spielberg for me.
Oh,
glass of red wine. I do enjoy a glass of red wine when watching a film, but it has to be the right type of film.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of Spielberg's films go absolutely perfect with a glass of red. Films like even like Bridge of Spies.
Yep.
And like Catch Me If You Can. Jurassic Park absolutely works. There's something like wholesome and warming and characterful and rich about Spielberg. I mean, how else are you gonna? There's so like a million different ways to describe Steven Spielberg. But, I think about rewatching Spielberg in my living room with a glass of red. Like it just goes, and I feel like all of his films would work.
Yeah.
E.T., glass of red film. I could go on.
I've gone with Stanley Kubrick. I feel like his films are quite rich, like you say, complex, full-bodied. I would say they've got a lot of depth to them. He's very meticulous. He's got layered storytelling. I feel like red wine's quite it's not as light as a white wine, but it's got the depth and the sort of intensity, I would feel. And it's also just classic, again, another sophisticated drink. Kubrick is a very established filmmaker, and it leaves a lasting impression, I feel. So I've just gone with Kubrick for a glass of red. So yeah. Okay. All right, old fashioned, speak of the devil.
Old fashioned for me, straight to Martin Scorsese.
Yeah, that's 3 for 3.
Yeah. Old fashioned in that he's been around for ages, just like Martin Scorsese, but every time you have it, it's still just as good. It's very hard to ruin an old fashioned because it's not a lot of ingredients. It's one of my favorite cocktails, an old fashioned. And it's just a surefire hit every single time. Just like Martin Scorsese, you can't go wrong.
There you go. He's to add to that as well. I think he's both he's a constant student, but like a proper academic of cinema.
Learning,
Again, very very old school. Very it's in the title essentially. Literally the first person I thought of. Yeah, that was one of the easier ones for me.
There's an amazing behind the scenes thing I saw from him filming The Irishman. And which I actually think is a good film. Yeah. I watched it on a plane and I thought this is still great. It's not like my favorite, and it's like the aging thing's a bit weird. But anyway, it was just like them at a restaurant scene, and it's Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, and they're just between takes, and Martin Scorsese is kind of just like leaning between them, and he's like having this really casual, calm conversation with them. And Robert De Niro is like, why don't I try it this way? And it's just like, yeah, I'm kind of thinking, it's probably like this. And he's like, what, you mean like that? It's like, yeah. And I know it's such a nothing comment, but the way in which he was like comfortably just analysing and character and doing micro tweaks between takes, I was like, so fascinating to watch like a comfortable master at work with some of the greatest actors ever. And he was like, yeah, should we go for another one? All right, cool, go for it. And he just coming back, and I was like, that is this like a master at work,
absolutely
comfortable in his own skin, working with the best.
Yeah, loved it. I love his intro. Do you remember the sort of the masterclass packages that you used to get for like different sort of industry sort of people?
Oh, like the courses.
Yeah, Scorsese's like the one I was. It's like if you're interested in film in a career in filmmaking, this class is not for you. But if you're dying to tell that story, this might be just for you, kind of thing.
That's great.
Scorsese. Out of interest, who do you, if you had to pick between Spielberg and Scorsese? Sorry,
I hate you. If I had to pick between Spielberg and Scorsese,
there is no right answer, of course. But.
I'm gonna go with Spielberg.
Okay.
Just for I think that like warm familiarity.
Yeah.
And the nostalgia that I think is like inherently baked into Spielberg's work. That childlike sense of wonder.
Yep.
God, yeah. I'd hate to make the choice.
Sorry.
Thank God it is a real choice. Yeah, I think maybe because I've been all sort of like violent and nasty with my other favourite films, I'll warm it up.
He's actually all right, guys. He's actually.
I'm fine.
After you, James.
Oh yeah. Let's go for this one. Espresso Martini.
Ooh.
Here we go.
Okay.
So I went with Christopher Nolan for Espresso Martini because I love an Espresso Martini. And whenever I drink an Espresso Martini, I'm usually in for a very good and exciting night/time. So I'm always excited to go in to a night out when I've had an Espresso Martini, but also coffee, one of my favorite smells, one of my favorite tastes. switches on the mind and locks me in. And to be watch one of Christopher Nolan's films, they could be very high concept, like an Inception or a Tenet, and I need to be focused. And I need to be having a good time. And it's rich and it's tasty and it's creamy. I love it. I'll go for an espresso martini.
Isn't espresso martini one of your go-tos? Would you say it's one of your go-tos?
If I am having dinner and then going out for a big one, without a doubt, espresso martini after the meal. Because I've just eaten. I need to now sort of set the night out. Shot of coffee. I mean, it'd be insane to have like a shot of coffee. Regulate it.
Fair play.
But like, you know, the excitement, the anticipation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wake me up. Show me something amazing.
Yeah.
Espresso martini.
I love how you've gone for an espresso martini for Nolan, and I've gone for a mojito.
Completely different drinks. Yeah.
I went with Edgar Wright.
Nice.
Espresso martini. I looked this up. Apparently, it's a British drink.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Nice.
So, we both picked British filmmakers. Yeah. Energetic, sharp, punchy, perfect mix of sort of style and rhythm. And I would say Edgar Wright's films, most of them, have this kind of caffeine level intensity to them.
Yes, that's a great observation.
Scott Pilgrim or Baby Driver.
Sort of like tweaky.
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
Like sort of fried up a little bit.
Yeah, they just get me really jolted up and just sort of ready to go.
Yeah, I like that.
So I've gone with Edgar Wright. Yeah.
You, I think.
Yeah. Okay, I've got an Aperol Spritz.
Aperol Spritz.
This one was also an easy one for me, I felt.
Interesting. Okay.
So I went with Luca Guadagnino.
Oh, so that's a really good pick.
Yeah, I mean, first thing, I mean, Italian drink, Italian filmmaker. Yeah. Luca Guadagnino, depending on what film you're watching, you can either go for an Aperol, you could go for a limoncello, depending on how sort of fruity you want to get there.
Sorry, no, I'm not fair. Sorry. Yeah, sorry, go.
So if you're watching a Challengers or maybe a Call Me By Your Name, something that has a bit more fun and sort of, I mean, Call Me By Your Name it becomes a more sort of deeper film, but sort of gives off that summer vibe. A limoncello spritz could do, but then the Aperols are for the bones and alls, the queers. Like it's just that very Italian sort of sensibility to it, and they're fun, but also not a sort of just throwaway drink, I would say. Yes. So I've gone with Guadagnino.
That's a very good pick. Also, like Call Me By Your Name, very sun-soaked film.
Exactly.
Aperol.
I feel like Guadagnino is also, so far he's not quite classic enough to be a Negroni, which is the other big Italian drink. So yeah, that's what I went for.
So I went for Wes Anderson for this.
Nice.
By the logic that Wes Anderson's films are both minimalist and maximized excess at the same time. So a Negroni, not a complicated drink to make, very simple, but they're quite like celebratory and fun and big and colourful. And I think Wes Anderson's always straddled that in his better films of being like very simple framing, but actually within that there's a lot of like fun and playfulness and complexity. So I went with Wes Anderson.
Good pick. Yeah. It is your go.
So it is. Right. This one is Cosmopolitan.
Right.
I went with Paul Feig.
Okay.
Because it's a fun girlies drink. Bridesmaids is a great fun girlies drink. And I think that works really well. Also, if you've ever seen or spoken to Paul Feig, he is exceptionally well dressed. Yeah. Always in a perfect suit. And he speaks a lot like this. Hi, how you doing? My name's Paul Feig. And he feels like the kind of guy who could very happily like order a Cosmo with a lot of confidence. And he would do that. And I'm named Paul Feig. That's what I think he would do. Like, I'm going to Cosmo. Let's get Cosmos in. I went with that. just five. It all just five.
I've gone with...
I can picture him, martini, but this type of glass. Yeah. Paul Feig with his wonderful suit could just like own it, and I'm like, yeah, that's why.
That's a look. That's a whole thing. I have gone with. I had a slightly different approach. I've gone with Sofia Coppola. So
okay.
I feel like her films are quite chic and stylish and sort of subtly kind of introspective in a way. And I know Cosmopolitans aren't the most kind of introspective drinks, but I feel like a lot of her films take place in urban landscapes. For example, Lost in Translation, On the Rocks, or The Bling Ring. And I always, for some reason, associate Cosmopolitans with New York. So Sofia Coppola was like kind of sort of the first person that sort of came to my mind.
Or even like all the hotel bars in Lost in Translation, like chic nightlife. Like night out drink. It really works for that. Yeah. So
there you go. I've gone with Miss Coppola. Next one. Okay, this is a pint of lager, mate. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So weirdly, I would think it would be one director, which you might have, but I've actually gone for James Cameron.
Okay.
So James Cameron is a director that I think is, wherever you're at, whatever you're doing, James Cameron delivers and is incredibly solid.
Yep.
There are so many amazing films in there.
Yep.
Not all of them I think are like the greatest films ever, but I think he's a very solid, reliable. If you can't sort of, you panic and you're ordering a drink, it's like, you know what, I'll just have a beer.
Let's have a beer, yeah.
That's what I think James Cameron does really well. You've got Terminator 2, you've got Titanic, you've got Avatar, if that's your bag. Where else I just think can't go wrong. I was gonna go with Guy Ritchie for a pile of lager, but I actually went with Guy Ritchie for a different drink, which I'm sure maybe you'd have gone for. But James Cameron, can't go wrong.
Interesting. I have gone with Peter Jackson because I feel like beers are quite, they're popular, approachable, hearty. They have got a communal aspect.
What's
to
that
them.
one? That's a pint.
So
I'm getting one. Yeah.
Well, there you go. Literally, the first thing that when I thought of pint of lager, the first scene that comes to my mind is when Gimli and Legolas try to outdrink each other in like post Battle of Helm's Deep in Return of the King.
There's a lot of great food in Lord.
Yeah, there is.
Salted pork. And
there is
all the lembas bread, the food, the cheese that they eat, the prancing pony and brie, the bread and cheese. I'm like, why is that so simple? But I really, really, really want that cheese. Love it. And all the food in The Hobbit when the dwarfs come for tea.
Yes,
love that.
Yeah. I also like last year. I think I remember going to like a Lord of the Rings pub quiz. So like,
lovely.
If you want to do a beer comparison, there's a pub quiz.
Yeah.
You're next, James.
Look. This one I didn't get something for. Margarita. I didn't get this one. I don't want it, but if you want to do it.
Oh, okay. Margarita was one of the hardest ones to do.
Yeah.
Hardest, most difficult ones to do.
I think this one, Long Island iced tea, I didn't get, by the way. Sorry, I just didn't.
No, it's all good. That's okay. So I sort of like genuinely, you could go with a lot of filmmakers for Margarita, but in the end, I sort of settled on Bong Joon-ho, and the reason is I feel like he's a master at kind of navigating a variety of tones in one film. So like a Margarita is something that sort of balances these contrasting flavors, sweetness, saltiness, sourness, and I feel like that kind of almost reflects Bong Joon-ho's storytelling style in a lot of ways. He mixes humor and tension and social commentary and unpredictability, and his films are always sort of both refreshing but impactful as well. So that's why I went for him.
Nice.
Margarita. There you go. But that was the hardest one to do, or one of the hardest ones to do for me. Jägerbomb.
Jägerbomb. Did I
think I added that last minute.
Oh, sorry.
No. It's all good. It's completely fine. Yeah.
Who would be a good one for Jägerbomb? Maybe like like super bad, something like Jägerbomb, like Project X, sort of like Jägerbomb. I don't know. Yeah, some one of those.
So I went with the Safdie brothers, just because it's quite intense, chaotic,
fantastic,
high octane.
Red Bull and alcohol.
Yeah.
At the same time. That's I'll absolutely take that.
Just watch Uncut Gems or Good Time.
Yeah. I really need to rewatch both of them. I've only done them once, and I'm like, where I'd be going in for like this frantic. You
should get them in before you see them individually.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Sure.
So yeah.
Sorry.
Do you? No, all good.
Gin and tonic. So I went with David Fincher.
Nice.
So David Fincher, incredibly complex and precise filmmaker. Gin and tonic, very few ingredients. I think David Fincher's films sometimes can look like they're, doing something very simple, but actually there's a lot of complexity in everything he does. We know how precise he is as a filmmaker, how much he loves to do 100 takes. And I think anyone who loves a gin and tonic will know that it's not just any old gin and any old tonic, any old lime and glass. Like, it's very precise over what you like to make it very, very good.
Yeah.
And that's what I think, David Fincher gives off.
Yeah.
I really like David Fincher's work.
Oh, he's brilliant.
A film I think about a lot, and I think the reason why I like it is The Killer recently. I really want to rewatch it, because I think I watched it and I was like so taken aback by how like still and calm it was. But it's really kind of stuck with me, and I want to rewatch it. And excited for The Social Network 2, which I know he isn't directing.
Yeah.
Just in general, I love a bit of Fincher.
Yeah, he's so brilliant, man. He's what was it? I feel like like you were saying with gin and tonics. Gin and tonics isn't a drink I tend to go for a lot of the time, but I know people who are so set on gin and tonics that they won't deviate from it.
George also likes a G&T.
Sure.
Yeah.
He's
a little skinny hoe.
Yeah.
Like his martinis, his gin and tonics. Have some calories with your alcohol.
So yeah, I went with Richard Linklater. I don't know why.
Nice.
I mean, I do know why, because I feel like it's quite crisp, approachable,
yes,
thoughtfully sort of balanced. He has very kind of naturalistic and conversational style of storytelling, I feel. Refreshing, easygoing, leaves a lasting impression.
Nice, yeah.
So I just went with Linklater. He's got 2 films coming out this year, I think, at LFF. He's got he's got a film called Blue Moon with Ethan Hawke and Margaret Qualley.
Oh, yeah.
And then he's also got something else, which I think is the more awardsy kind of film, which is, I think it's a black and white film. I can't remember the name of it,
nice.
but something to look out for. Yes, okay, I'll pick up the next one. Oh, okay. Strawberry Daiquiri.
Oh, so I went with Peter Jackson for this one.
Nice.
So Peter Jackson, whenever I've seen him talk, he's really friendly, unpretentious, like homely, like an uncle or a father. Like he doesn't.
He's quite an uncle, isn't he? Yeah,
really, he's very much like a naughty uncle. Like he's cheeky. He doesn't have this like wanky pretentiousness and sense of like grandeur that I think a lot of directors, definitely on this list, are guilty of having. And I think he really, like, though he is sort of the director of, you know, some of these great films, he'll always say that, you know, it's made by, you know, Philippa Boyens and Fran Walsh, who've helped craft the story, the amazing crew, and Weta. He always kind of like deflects everything to everyone else. And I think the Strawberry Daiquiri is a drink. It's sweet, like Peter Jackson is. It's kind, it's easy, and it's just like a lovely, warm hug of a drink, just like the best Peter Jackson films are. When I spoke to, I listened to an interview of Alex Garland talking about, he's talking to Neil Druckmann, and he says that Alex Garland says he really dislikes the way that directors have become like deified in our industry as being like an auteur. He hates the idea of like a film by thing, and he's like really like he's just one small component of like this much larger thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, I really feel like Peter Jackson represents that as well. And so Strawberry Daiquiri, warm, sweet, kind, friendly. That's what Peter
Fair
Jackson
enough.
is.
I've gone with Hayao Miyazaki because I feel like his films are whimsical, but above everything else, colourful,
punchy,
full
vibrant,
of wonder.
Yes, great.
But they kind of have, I mean, they have depth to them as well a little bit. So I don't think A Sex on the Beach, which we will come to later, it's not quite that. It's not quite that. So I've given him a Strawberry Daiquiri, sweet, fruity, refreshing, sort of mirrors this sort of sense of innocence and imagination. I don't think I feel all of these things when I drink a Strawberry Daiquiri. However, I don't know, the colourfulness of his films, I think it was something I instantly related back to a Strawberry Daiquiri. So I've given it to Miyazaki. So
lovely.
Delightful. Yeah. Oh,
okay.
yeah. I think it's you. He's like peeing in the corner, dude.
Into a bottle. Yeah. So the next one is White Russian.
Okay.
So I went for Andrei Tarkovsky. And I'm going to admit, I've only seen one Tarkovsky film.
Stalker.
And that's Stalker.
Okay, yeah.
It's really interesting. It's very slow. And I've gone for it because he's white. He's Russian. That's a Russian filmmaker whose works I've seen. Stalker's a really, really great film that I recommend. And I've been like meaning to go and watch more Andrei Tarkovsky. But as always, there's never a good time to sit down and watch Andrei Tarkovsky. Stalker's a really, really good film. Just about, have you seen it?
No, I haven't. I need to get into Tarkovsky, really.
There's no good time, but by all means, it's a really interesting film about a guy who leads people into a place called the Zone to seek answers. One person he takes is seeking wealth, the other is seeking, I might be cocking this up now, the other is seeking success in his career, and we never see inside the zone, but the zone is what the perspective of the camera is looking out. He leads people to the zone, but he never goes in. I'm doing a terrible job at explaining what it is. It's a fantastically interesting film. That's really worth your attention. I've been meaning to watch things like Solaris. And others, but I've not had the time. But yeah, White and Russian, so I'll go for that.
I remember. Oh, here we go. So when I was sort of thinking who I might put for this, I've just gone with not going to say Tarkovsky.
I will.
This is White and Russian. In the end, this is also a little bit of an unconventional sort of pick, but I've just gone with Paul Thomas Anderson because I feel like he's kind of got a slightly off-kilter approach to contemporary stories.
Yes.
And I feel like he's got an odd mix of things, but manages to beautifully balance them all out. He's got a signature blend of sort of humor and eccentric characters and very unconventional approach to storytelling. And I think he has the appeal of a mainstream sort of film, but then also like the kick of sort of the vodka and the coffee liqueur is kind of quite revealing of characters that are more sort of strange and off-kiltered, I would say.
Yes,
so
yeah.
I'd say White Russian. I love a White Russian as well. I think it's
Right,
one of my favorite drinks.
Nice.
So yeah, I've kind of just gone with PTA. So there you go.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Long Island iced tea.
Oh, sorry, I didn't have one for this one.
It's all good, dude.
Yeah.
It's all good. So I've gone with Michael Bay. I think I just thought of Transformers. I think potent, chaotic,
Yes.
over the top, sort of. Done.
There's people at Linkin Park's current gig,
Yeah.
like with their phone.
Oh yeah. I have seen these. I've seen this.
by Michael Bay, and they time it up perfectly. Bass, mate. Love Linkin Park. It's so good.
Yeah, Long Island iced tea. Yeah, because quite explosive. Michael Bay, he's your guy. Hits hard. There you go.
Does.
Done.
What's your favorite Michael Bay film?
Probably Transformers, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think I like Bad Boys. Probably one of the just as a guilty pleasure. I think one of the
I really remember coming out of seeing Transformers 2.
Yeah,
I was 13, 14 at the time.
I love it.
And I was like, that was the best film of my life. Because it had everything for me. It was like Megan Fox, most beautiful person I'd ever seen in my life. Action, what's his face?
Shia LaBeouf
was just like hilarious and great in it. It was like his eyes. And just like it was so funny and action packed.
Yeah.
And I was just like, God, there's so much going on here. And I just had a fucking incredible time.
I have such a fun time.
I was like that. I just remember walking down the steps all the time. I was like, that's one of the best films I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
I don't think it is to this day. But man, for where I was at that moment in my life, it did everything it needed to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's also like the forest battle with Optimus Prime when he takes on like 3 Decepticons. I'm like,
It's fucking awesome. Yeah, like I think the later films did get a bit shit.
Yeah,
and it's just noisy and loud. I saw the 4th Transformers film, the Michael Bay one. I think we found a Transformer.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was terrible. It was so chaotic and loud, and I just couldn't do it.
It's too bloated. I also love that there's a scene in that film that always cracks me up with Stanley Tucci's character.
Yes.
And he's like trying to get through a corridor, and these 3 elderly Chinese women.
Right.
And he's like, excuse me. It's like, oh my God, how do you say get the fuck out of the way in Chinese? And it always just cracks me up, man. It's just,
and I felt like they got more egregious with the brand product placement, really in your face egregious stuff. Like it was there in the first 2, but just like, come on. Lovely for me.
Oh, I think, are we done? Oh, no, I was going to say, are we down to the last 2?
Okay, Sex on the Beach.
Okay.
So I've gone for Paul Thomas Anderson.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So Sex on the Beach, it's outrageous. It's in your face. It's naughty. It's
Boogie
impactful. Boogie Nights. Most recently, One Battle After Another. It's really like sexually infused violence, vibrancy to it. And Paul Thomas Anderson, I think, is a director who's just like, he always like mixes up what he does, but it's always like impactful and thought-provoking and in your face. And you know, I don't necessarily think that There Will Be Blood reminds me of Sex on the Beach, but yeah, like Boogie Nights and One Battle After Another, it's just infused with the extremes of humanity. And when you say someone, let's have sex on the beach, you're doing an extreme thing there, and I think that's always brilliant.
I have gone for the complete opposite approach with Sex on the Beach. Sex on the Beach for me is like just sort of, I remember going after A-levels to Zanti and sort of like that was the drink. It was quite lighthearted and stuff. So I've just gone, I've just gone with James Gunn. I feel like, I think Guardians of the Galaxy, his films are sort of fun and colourful and a little chaotic, yet surprisingly sweet and heartfelt. They're about friends.
Yeah,
Sex on the Beach. On a lads tour, lads on tour, as holiday, lads tour.
Are people still going to like Zanti, Magaluf and Iron Apple when they're young?
I don't know. Are they?
Like culturally, is it still? Come on.
So I wasn't saying Clara. I was saying like your younger brother. He's not. Is he interested in?
No.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
I wonder if it was like, because I think when we were growing up, those like drinking holidays, like it was like Geordie Shore was really big, and I think really like that culturally was like a really important thing. I don't know if it's
the rite of passage. It was a rite of passage.
Yeah, for better or worse, it was a rite of passage.
There you go. Oh, okay. Right. And Negroni.
Oh shit! I've put Fincher again.
It's all good.
I've already done Richard Tonic. I'll go Fincher again. For the same reason. I realised I've done twice. For the same reasons. I really can't stand a Negroni, but that's not anything.
Same.
To do with that.
I really don't love Negronis as well. I think
I don't remember, like, I've worked in a couple of pubs. Sorry, I'm just crapping my neck.
No, sorry. Go for it.
I've worked in a couple of pubs, and I would learn how to do like some of the basic cocktails in case anyone asked. I remember learning about what a Negroni was, and I was like, "That's awful. Is that all that's in a Negroni?" I remember trying it, being like, "I don't like that." Maybe. Yeah, Negroni simply because it's simple things done very well. Like there's an art to a really good Negroni, and it's precise and it's decided. And like I was actually in Italy recently, and a bunch of people with us ordered Negronis, and we ordered a couple of other drinks, and the guy making it did such a good job with the Negronis. And even though some of us came late and ordered different things, he still managed to make all the cocktails at the same time and present them. And I was like, you've just done very simple things very well. There's something simple about what Fincher does, but I think it's presented as like simple, but it's actually very like elevated and artistic.
Fair play. I have just gone with just purely on an aesthetic level. Wes Anderson Negroni is quite symmetrical. It's very sort of simple, but also quite intricate. Yeah. And just watch Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Yeah, of course.
It's sort of the Negroni vibe. And,
sorry, I've done Fincher twice.
No. That's all good. That's all good. I think we are down to our last two.
Okay. Guinness. For me, it's Guy Ritchie.
There you go.
First of all, have you been to Guy Ritchie's pub?
Not yet. I need to. I've heard like one of the roasters there is like
I haven't
amazing.
eaten there.
Okay.
I've just been there for drinks, but the roast looks insane.
Yeah.
Gorgeous pub.
Yeah.
And you could very easily shoot a film scene in there from a Guy Ritchie film. Yeah, I was thinking pint of lager, like lager lads, but I was like, no, it's actually smoother and more sophisticated, like a Guinness. If we're talking, there are two sort of Guy Ritchie wings. There's the Guy Ritchie film, which is Lock, Stock and all that, and then there's his new like commercial studio Guy Ritchie stuff, because the Guinness is a very commercially successful drink.
Yeah.
Me and George have a theory that Guy Ritchie as a director for hire must be really easy to work with, on budget, and just like quite happy to do different things, because he keeps turning up doing all of these different types.
Aladdin and like
Aladdin and like Fountain of Youth most recently, and
that was him. That was Guy Ritchie.
That was Guy Ritchie, yeah. And that's the thing, you wouldn't know, but I think he's kind of like, as a jobbing director, he's like probably easy to work with, gets on with talent, in budget, and that's why he does it. But anyway, it's more associated with like Lock, Stock and all of those. Yeah, I
mean, I was going to assign Guy Ritchie or to either a pint of lager or a pint of Guinness. Yeah. In the end, I went with Martin McDonagh.
Oh, okay, nice.
Dark,
perfect.
Rich, full-bodied, reflecting sort of he has quite like a biting sense of humor, intense drama, complex characters.
You could easily see it in Bruges.
Yeah, absolutely. Banshees in it. Yeah,
Banshees.
There you go. Banshees was the first thing I thought of when I thought of Guinness. Island. There you go. Not to be racially appropriate.
They love it. The Irish.
There you go. I think this is the last one. But since you're the guest, you go for it.
Let's see. This last one is Dark and Stormy.
Oh, easy. Easiest one for me.
Go on.
Like, it's literally in the description. Dark and Stormy. That's Robert Eggers for me.
I mean, that's a very, very good
But I feel like you have gone with someone else.
So I thought of Robert Eggers, and I thought it could have gone fine. But yeah, I mean, Robert Eggers, what a filmmaker. I went to go see they've re-released Witch at the Prince Charles, The Witch at the Prince Charles, and Robert Eggers did a wonderful introduction to that movie. And it was also a sort of reminder that the Prince Charles is really struggling at the moment.
Yes.
They're under threat. And he was just talking about like how he went to go and see loads of like really popular films for the first time, screened in cinema at the Prince Charles. But I rewatched The Witch. It's absolutely brilliant. I really enjoyed Nosferatu. I love how gothic it was. It wasn't the scariest film ever. Weirdly, the horror part is front loaded in that film, and it gets less scary the more it goes on.
Yeah.
I thought it totally worked. I went with Ridley Scott.
Nice.
The reason I went with Ridley Scott is because Blade Runner has a lot of storms in it, and it's very dark.
Yep.
And Alien is also a very dark film. They get the aliens in a storm, in a sort of like a stormy thing. And I feel like if anyone was to do a storm well, I think Ridley Scott can do it. I didn't love Gladiator 2, if I'm honest, but some of my favourite... Ridley Scott's got an amazing catalogue of films. Like 1979 Alien, I think, is amazing. I love Blade Runner. And I just think about getting noodles in a dark, futuristic city. It's ominous, it's threatening, it's moody. Ridley Scott really suits that for me.
Dark and Stormy, there you go. Well, that is it I think that's all the drinks.
Mess everywhere.
Guys, I promise we're not alcoholics.
Yeah. If we have like romanticized alcohol, I'm like, shit, I'm an alcoholic.
But yeah, thanks so much for that, James. That was great to pick your brains about.
It was good to just sort of like suss the vibe of directors with drinks. It was great fun.
There you go. We are, of course, now going to be moving on to some games.
Here we go.
So, James.
Yes.
Game number 1. We know you're a big fan of Letterboxd. So
yes. Let's do it.
You've got to guess the 2025 film from the Letterboxd review.
Oh, okay. I like this.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
So first up, we have... I'm just glad we're seeing kids go outside again instead of being glued to their iPad screens.
Is it Weapons?
That is correct.
I love it. Because you know what? The final moment in Weapons is in broad daylight.
Yeah.
It really adds to like that cathartic relief.
Yeah.
Like that funny, violent side to it. Yeah, totally love that. That's great.
Up next, we've got Call Me a Car Door because Brad Pitt could slam me all night.
F1, of course. And Brad Pitt, he has not lost it. You know,
he's not.
There is a really premium perfume, watch ad, suede jacket commercial ready to be made from the rushes of that film.
Yes.
They should just license some of the footage of him walking a 200mm shot down Silverstone and just be like, yeah, the best fragrance. Oh, Brad Pitt.
There you go. Up next, we've got greatest use of IMAX aspect ratio change since Catching Fire.
Is it Sinners?
That is correct, yes.
Famous one with the slow.
Yeah.
Yeah, really great.
Up next, we've got surprisingly beautiful for a movie about the three ugliest looking people alive.
Surprisingly, 3 ugliest people alive? Surprisingly beautiful about the 3 ugliest people alive. No, I don't have it. Go on.
So this is a sarcastic sort of review. So surprisingly beautiful for a movie about the 3 ugliest looking people alive. Which means they're actually...
beautiful. Okay, so who is the 3 beautiful? Who was it? Oh god, I've lost it. Go on.
So that is Materialists.
Ah, okay. Yeah. Fine.
Up next, we've got This Is Why I Don't Do Favors for My Neighbors.
This is why I don't do favors for my neighbors.
This one's trickier.
Favors for my neighbors. I don't think I've got it. No, go on.
That's Caught Stealing.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah, that's great. Nice.
And finally, we've got probably the most pro-drinking and driving movie in the history of cinema.
Was it One Battle After Another?
That is correct, yeah.
Love that.
So this one is called Cryptic Plot.
All right.
Okay, so first up, a guy who digs for a living finally goes bowling.
Big Lebowski?
Nope.
No. Digs for a living. Digs for a living. Finally goes bowling. No, go on. What is it?
So that is There Will Be Blood.
Oh my god, that's so obvious. I can't believe I didn't get that. The bowling, I was like, what? Go on.
Up next, we've got a school teacher is horrified that her students are very late to class.
Is that like horrified? They're very late to class. It's not like a Hilary Swank film or something.
Very recent.
Oh, Weapons.
Yeah,
Weapons.
right, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, of course.
Up next, we've got a South American immigrant illegally enters the UK via a small boat.
Really enters the UK via a small boat. I'm thinking way too literal about this. A South American immigrant. I don't have this. No, what is it?
This is Paddington.
That's really good. That you totally shoot us like immigrant. No one ever watches Paddington is like, oh, small boats. Unbelievable.
We were cracking up last night writing this.
That's so good. That is so good. I was like, what hard-hitting immigration drama. I was like, Scarlet, no, fuck.
Oh,
fantastic.
Gosh.
So good. So good.
A man's bad time management skills leads to his children paying the price.
Bad time management skills. Is it Hook?
No.
Because he's late to the game and then the kids get kidnapped by Hook. Okay, bad time management skills. What was it again?
Leads to his children paying the price.
Bad time management skills. Oh, Inception.
Not Inception. Very, 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 very close.
Oh, Interstellar. Time, Nolan. Because he's also like.
I guess you could kind of put
dreams,
it.
not time. Yeah, sorry, Inception.
No,
sorry, Interstellar. Yeah, of course. It's very close.
Up next, we've got a man infiltrates high society, and the only thing more shocking than the truths that are uncovered are his dance moves.
Infiltrates high society. Oh, shocking. His dance moves. Infiltrates high society. Shocking dance moves. Infiltrates high society. No, I don't have it. Go on.
That's Saltburn.
Oh, okay, yeah. Very good. Very, very good.
Up next, we've got an intergalactic terrorist seeks revenge by hitchhiking a ride with a religious fanatic and a smuggler.
Intergalactic terrorist. Is it Star Wars?
Yes!
Yeah. These words throw me off completely. I realised to do this, I have to like zoom out, think themes. It's fantastic. I love it.
Our last cryptic plot, James, is...
Terrorist. Is Luke a terrorist?
Apparently so.
He's a rebel. They're terrorists. Awful people.
Finally, James, we've got a naked time traveler with an endless supply of one-liners becomes the ultimate babysitter.
That's Terminator.
That is correct. Yeah.
Fantastic.
There you go. That's cryptic plots.
Brilliant. Those are so fun. And isn't it fun when you come up with them and you just have a little giggle?
Yeah.
Yes. It would be funny.
Oh god.
Oh, fantastic.
I'm gonna slightly pick your bones here.
Okay.
Is an impressions game.
Oh god.
So we've got Clara and Isaac have popped some names of some actors or characters.
No, I get really bad when I'm asked to do them.
James, I can't do impressions for shit. So so we're gonna pick a name out and the other person can try and guess.
I will do my best.
Sure.
But
If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out.
I will do my best. Keir Starmer, Mr. Speaker, I couldn't help but notice that the party opposite, Keir Starmer, the comedian Josh Widdicombe?
Yes.
Josh Widdicombe kind of talks like this, and he's got this very sort of type of voice, and Keir Starmer sort of, a little bit more formal, a little bit more, presidential, but it's all sort of in the sort of the jowls of the throat there. Yes, thank you for doing that one.
Very nice, very nice.
Yeah, but it's always like, Mr. Speaker, the party opposite couldn't believe that I saw the NHS waiting times higher under your government. That's sort of the best Keir Starmer I can do.
We're gonna have a crack.
Oh yeah, please.
Okay, so let's go with this one.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh, was I meant to do it without telling you?
Yes, but
sorry. Sorry, I was like,
it's all good. It's all good. Okay. I dare you. I double dare you, motherfucker.
Samuel L. Jackson.
There we go. Yeah.
Very good.
Where is my super suit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
There we go. Okay, that one I'm thankful for.
Okay.
He's missing out.
Okay. So I won't tell you what this is. Whoa. Hey, what do you got? Whoa. Hello.
It's like Al Pacino.
Yeah. Whoa. What do you got?
You got a great ass.
Yeah. Hello.
We're gonna.
Come on.
Okay. So, oh fuck, I can't do it. If I have a milkshake, and you have a milkshake, James, and I have a straw, just watching, I have a straw, and it goes way over here. I drink your milkshake.
Unquestionably.
I drink it up.
Daniel Plainview, Daniel Day-Lewis. It's actually very fun to talk.
Yeah.
Your milkshake is my son, HW, and we will be... It's like this entrepreneurial America.
Yeah.
Very, very fun.
Yeah.
I've abandoned my child.
And my boy.
My boy. Okay, all right. Okay. I need you to sort of ask me a question.
Okay.
Imagine we're on a talk show.
Okay, so James, I hear you've been skydiving recently.
Well, I always wanted to go skydiving.
Oh my god!
It's something I've always really wanted. Thank you for your question. It's really quite incredible. Hey there, little darling. Wow. I always wanted to skydive into your heart.
Is that Austin Butler?
Yeah. Austin Butler is not a real man.
He is.
He's like a celebrity grown in the lab.
Yeah.
And he's a really good actor, but I think I think he's too cool for school.
He is.
Austin
He's
Butler.
a little bit. He is a little
He's
bit.
been too cool in everything he's in. And we've been talking about Leonardo DiCaprio recently in his recent films and how he's actually done a really good job of like humiliating himself and being goofy and fumbling over and not just always trying to be like the coolest person in the room.
Yes.
He's the biggest star. And I feel like that sort of sense of silliness and whimsy would do Austin Butler a lot of favors.
Yeah.
It's just very... And I've seen him in real life. Like, he just looks so cool and everything is he poses for the photos. It's he's got the perfume ad in the airport. And I'm just like, it's great what you're doing. I think to elevate yourself, I make advice to Austin Butler.
Be a bit more
you need to just
come back down.
Drag through the dirt a little bit, Austin.
Very nice. I'm gonna pick this last one. So James, I was wondering what would break first, your spirit or your body?
What is that?
Oh my god,
it's really killing me. Your spirit or your body? Oh wait, no. What is that? Do it again.
Oh yes.
Oh, it's Tom Hardy's babe.
Yeah. I was trying not to do this because
I was born in it.
I
love it when he sounds really camp sometimes. He sounds really camp sometimes, Tom Hardy. He'll be like, Gotham is yours. And the best is when Ben Mendelsohn is like, what the hell's going on? I gave you $10 million. I'm in control. And he just rests his hand on his shoulder.
Yeah.
Like, do you feel in control?
Yeah.
I think it was a brilliant performance.
It's so good.
Really scary.
So good.
You really chose the dark.
You really adopted the dog.
With it.
Molded by it. The final impression. Let's go.
Oh, hey, now, you know it's going to be something over there. So right.
Oh, gosh.
Right on. You know, and that's so, see? Yeah, I'm just going to roll this sugar.
I'm going to keep
between my fingers. Right on. Sweet. Yeah, okay.
I'm not even going to say, I'm just going to get keep going. That's, of course, Mr. McConaughey.
Amazing.
Yeah.
All right.
Have you seen this? There's a guy who teaches people, not teach, it was a video of a guy saying how to do a McConaughey impression. It was like, you sort of like lower your...
So you got to get it right down there.
Yeah.
You got to put the Texas in there because he's going to tell you right now. He's going to tell you. I'm going to come back, all right? We go around Gargantua. We lose a lot of fuel, but we save a lot of time. He's right. We need to think about time as a resource, just like water and food.
Now transform it into Michael Caine.
Well, no, she was only supposed to blow the bloody doors off. I do not like to tell you about that girl who went, and he gets very sad, and I will not bury another member of the Batman family. What's the point in all those push-ups if you can't even lift
bloody log? Brilliant. So James, we've got, so this one is simply guess the film from the actor.
Okay.
No, guess the film from the actors.
Yes.
First up, we've got Salma Hayek,
Yep.
Jeremy Irons, Jared Leto, and Adam Driver.
No, I don't have it. What is it?
House of Gucci.
Oh, of course. Oh, okay. Yeah. Very good.
Up next, we've got
Lady Gaga in there.
Yeah. Up next, we've got Ralph Ineson.
Yep.
Alicia Vikander.
Yep.
Sean Harris. Barry Keoghan. This one's tricky.
Barry Keoghan and Alicia Vikander. Sean Harris. No, I don't think I've seen it. What is it?
That's The Green Knight.
Oh, I've not seen The Green Knight. I've heard it's brilliant, though. I've heard it's brilliant.
Up next, we've got Stephen Graham.
Yep.
Anna Paquin. Jesse Plemons and Al Pacino.
That was mine. That was a good clip.
Yeah.
Is it? It's not like Lincoln or something. No, sorry. It would be Jesse Plemons. Are you missing out some of the main stars?
Yeah. These are very discreet.
No, I don't have it. What is it?
The Irishman.
Oh, damn it! It's tough to do sporting, but yeah, go on.
Up next, we've got Robin Wright.
Yeah.
Jared Leto.
Yeah.
Dave Bautista.
Yeah.
And Ana de Armas.
Blade Runner 2049.
That is correct. Yes.
Yeah.
And finally, we've got Michael Caine.
Yeah.
Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Yeah.
Julianne Moore. And Charlie Hunnam. This is really tricky.
And Charlie Hunnam. Michael Caine, Julianne Moore, Charlie Hunnam. Who's the other one?
Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Charlie Hunnam. Oh, no. I was thinking like The Martian, but it's not. No, go on. What is it?
Children of Men.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Tough game.
Basically, I'm going to ask ChatGPT to generate two random actors. You're going to have to try connect them via films.
Okay.
But they have to be less than 5 films. So 5 or less films.
Okay, correct.
So, James?
Yep.
You got to connect the actors via some films.
Okay.
So first up, we've got to connect Oscar Isaac,
Yeah.
Florence Pugh.
Okay, so Oscar Isaac is in X-Men Apocalypse, which also stars all sorts of people, which also stars, let's go with James McAvoy. Should I have got this already? Who is in... I'm so bad at this. Florence Pugh, who's also in James McAvoy. Shit.
Okay, Oscar Isaac. Do you want me to give it to you?
Yeah, go on.
Okay, Oscar Isaac, Florence Pugh.
Yeah.
One was in June Part 1, one was in June Part 2.
Oh my god, of course.
Connect them via
Timothy
and
Chalamet,
then-
great.
yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I realised I introed that game wrong. I guess connect the actors via other actors. I think I was meant to say, not the films, not the films, but there you go.
Oh, it's via other acts. Okay, fine.
Yeah, sorry, my bad.
No, that's fine.
So, two more random actors: Daniel Kaluuya and Zendaya.
Okay.
I don't know the answers to these, by the way, so I'm going to think as well.
Okay. I'm so bad at these. So I'm worried I'm going to have a lot of dead air trying to figure this out.
It's all good.
So Zendaya is in Challengers with Josh O'Connor. I've got 5 films to do this, right? So that's one. And then Josh O'Connor. Josh O'Connor, can I do a TV show? Is in The Crown with Claire Foy.
I'll give it to you.
Claire Foy is in Women Talking with Jessie Buckley. Is in Men with Rory Kinnear. And Rory Kinnear. I'm struggling so much. And Rory Kinnear. No, I fucked it. Do you have one?
So I thought of so Daniel Kaluuya is in Across the Spider-Verse.
Oh, that's
he's
a great shout.
In that with Oscar Isaac.
Yeah.
Oscar Isaac is in Dune Part 1 with Zendaya.
Yes, that's
there you
great.
go.
Well done. Oh, I think I'm rubbish at this.
We have another crack at it.
Yeah, I'll have one more go.
Up next, we've got Pedro Pascal to Saoirse Ronan.
Okay, so Pedro Pascal is in Gladiator 2 with Paul Mescal, and Paul Mescal was in Foe.
There you go. There you go. Do you want to have another crack?
Sure. Yeah, I'll do one more.
Okay. Adam Driver to Lupita Nyong'o.
They're both in Force Awakens.
All right, let me go.
Done. Easy.
All right. Oh, this one's true. Timothy Chalamet to Tessa Thompson.
Okay, so Chalamet's in June. Oscar Isaac is in Star Wars. Who did any Marvel film who was in Star Wars? Must be someone. Maybe they don't do them together. Fuck. Who's been in Marvel and Star Wars? Oh, okay. Samuel L. Jackson is in Avengers. We've been with Chris Hemsworth, who's been with Tessa Thompson for Thor Ragnarok.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. Well, fun. Fantastic.
Great. Mate, thank you so much for having me.
You beat me to it. You beat me to it. You're not supposed to do that.
sorry.
I'm just kidding.
No.
James, thank you so much. I hope you've somewhat enjoyed this. It's been so fun to just chat about just film and life, and just it's been a real pleasure. So thanks so much for coming on.
Mate, thank you so much for having me. This is great. Genuinely, thank you for the invitation, and thank you for your time. This has been great and very professional, I must say.
We try.
Absolute top notch.
We try.
Production values. Really appreciate it.
We appreciate it a lot. Guys, as I mentioned at the start, all of James's relevant links are going to be linked in the description box below. If you're not already across him or following him, please do go and check out some of his stuff. And we look forward to seeing all your upcoming content, Pulp Kitchen, on your podcast. Also, very much looking forward to your live show.
Yes. Yeah. When's this going out, by the way?
Probably this time next week or something. Or is it going to be after? It's on the 8th, isn't it? It'll come out before the 8th.
This is out before the 8th. We still have a few tickets remaining to see us live for our 200th episode, our first ever live show. If that's of interest, at the Leicester Square Theatre on the 8th of October.
Good fun.
If you want to come and check us live, be sure to be there. We cannot wait.
There you go. Well, thank you so much, James. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for listening. And we'll catch you very soon in the next episode of the Popcorn Podcast. Cheers.